whiskey. Good morning, it's another day, my friend. But soon the sunshine turns to moonlight, life goes on. It takes some time to say goodnight. You close your eyes to dream next thing tomorrow's here.
It's a brand new day, never hold on to hate. Cause you was placed here to be great. Please take your place. All queens got a seat at my table. Cause without y'all, then the man ain't able. Melanated queen, connected to the universe. And so I gotta thank my mom for my birth. If hate is the curse, then love is the remedy. So I send you love no matter creed or identity. Until infinity, look at you like you kin to me. Even when we disagree, yo, you still kin to me. In other words, I can't bring you no trouble, can't bring you no beef, don't wanna see you deceased. Now if I'm coming at you, I'm coming with a business plan. Cause every day I'm on some, yo, let's get this money, man. Yeah, and that's my real plans. I rest my head at night, I wake up, I got another plan.
Good morning, it's another day, my friend. But soon the sunshine turns to moonlight, life goes on.
Tell me why we don't get money together, but we'll kill each other over whatever. Running down the freeway, we gun our own down. If Black Lives Matter, why we gun our own down? That's why they laugh and they think that we clowns. They hear what we say, but see how we get down. We gotta change that now, right now to be exact. Cause hurting that man's moms is not where it's at now. Old school, new school, need to learn, yo. They put us in groups so they can make more dough. The young versus the old versus the young. Black versus white, you see the pattern, right? No unity, keep them all on some gutter-ish. This way they don't prosper and get rich. Yo, can't you see it's a trick? Just open your third eye and you'll see the full view of it. Now yo, what if the powers that be know that the real power lies within the people? That's us. And what if they using things like crayon colors, black and white, to separate the people? Hey, yo, you gotta wake up. Don't let them fool y'all. Spread love.
Good morning, it's another day, my friend. But soon the sunshine turns to moonlight, life goes on. It takes some time to say goodnight. You close your eyes to dream next thing tomorrow. Good morning, it's another day, my friend. But soon the sunshine turns to moonlight, life goes on. It takes some time to say goodnight. You close your eyes to dream next thing tomorrow's here again.
All right, here we go, y'all.
Good morning.
We are back in the building on this Monday morning. Hopefully everybody's doing well. Y'all know what to do. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can see me. We're about to get into it. Shout out to everybody who's in the building. Happy Veterans Day as well. Oh my gosh. I love it, man. I love it. Okay, we got some 1s in the chat. We should be good. Let me see how we're looking though. Ooh, oh no, we're off center. We are not crispy and clean on the screen yet. Hold on. I gotta fix this. There we go. Man, never a dull moment. Welcome, y'all. Welcome back to another YouTube live stream and another episode of the Music Morning Show. I'm your host, ClassE Beats of ClassEbeats.com. And first, let me stop. Hold on. Let me stop everything. Happy Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day to everyone who is here. Thank you so much to all our servicemen and women who make the sacrifice every day, who fight to serve this country, who allow me to be here to do what I'm doing on YouTube and to give us the freedoms that we have in this amazing, beautiful country of America. Thank y'all so much. I have so much respect and appreciation for the military, myself being raised in the military family. And not only that, my grandfather is a Marine, served in the Marine, was a lifer in the Marine, and always, as y'all know, He's still a Marine. All right. Am I right? Y'all know my mom and my dad, both of them retired Air Force. My dad also served in the Army as well. So I have a huge appreciation for the military, made me the person I am today. And man, I would not be where I'm at if it weren't for the military and everything that you all do for our country. And specifically, thank you so much to, I mean, my grandfather served in the military. Not only that, but every single one of his children, my aunts and uncles, they all served in the military as well. So to my Aunt Joyce, Uncle Frank, Aunt Carol, thank you all for your service as well. To my mom, I love you. Thank you for your service. My dad, I love and appreciate you. Thank you for your service. And Grandpa, of course, you know, I love you. Thank you for all that you do. And thank you to everyone in the chat who served in our military as well. I appreciate y'all. And if you are in the military, or if you served in the military, please let me know, because I want to show you some special appreciation today. So I wanted to take out the time and do that, because I appreciate y'all so much. Shout out to everybody who's in the building. We've got the awesome, amazing Amy is in here, of course. Samantha's in the building. We've got Sheila in here. ZA is up in the building. Mark, shout out to you. We've got Christina, Drama Llama, Tanya, Texas Tina T. We've got Chicka Bully. I think I said that right. Mary is in here. Shout out to Mary. I've never seen it spelled that way. We've got Dorothy. Just Eric is in here. Rachel Hart, Candace, Peter Ortiz is in the building. Walter Waller is in the building as well. A Fitz. We've got, who else is in here? I know I missed some of y'all. We've got who else? Debbie's in here. Shout out to Debbie. Just Me, Patricia. Haha. I got Joker. Fatima's in here. Leona, Natasha. Oh my gosh. Rosalina. We got Coco is in here. Shout out to Coco. All right, I'm gonna be saying good morning to a couple of y'all as well. Let me see who's in here. Peter Ortiz, of course. I had a feeling, but I wasn't sure. Thank you so much for your service, Peter. Who else was in the military? Oh my gosh. Shout out to Ashley Bryan in here, served in the Navy. Thank you so much. Mark, of course, in the Air Force as well. Thank you so much for your service. Who else do we have in here? Yep, shout out to Motor City. Says, happy Veterans Day to all those serving and who have served. I appreciate y'all so much. You have no idea. Thank you to all the veterans. Shout out to Pretty Black Girl in here. Says a U.S. Navy veteran. All right, 12 years of service. Wow. I love it. I appreciate you. Thank you. Shout out to Shepherd. Says my uncle is a Marine. Shout out to the Marines who we've got an Army vet in there. Shout out to, I'm gonna mess up your name. Is it Shea? I'm gonna mess it up. But I appreciate you being here and thank you so much for your service as well. All right, so as a lot of y'all know, there is no court today, unfortunately. No court today, but we do have some things we have to review because we spent a lot of time last week and there is really a lot of controversy about everything that went down with the Shamel Drinks murder. Now, we heard some testimony from not only the officer or the detective that responded to the scene. If y'all remember that, it was an absolute disaster. We got to see the video of what actually went down. We got to hear from Mr. Cheeseburger. Or his real name is Cheeseboro, but shout out to Mr. Cheeseburger for being a good sport about it. And he actually gave an account of everything that happened when he responded to the scene and he saw the car was sitting there. We're going to go back through a little bit of that interview and then go through some of the interviews or some of the witnesses that were on the stand the rest of that day. These interviews are from Tuesday, or testimony is from Tuesday. So if you've seen this already, some of it you may be familiar with, but we didn't actually review it live on the show. So I wanted to go through that and check out a couple things for y'all. If you could do me a favor, if y'all could make sure that you like the video on your way in, not only is it free, not only does it help the show continue to grow, but it does let the YouTube algorithm know that you're enjoying the show and it shares the video with more people. All right. Can y'all do that for me? I would appreciate it. The Honorable Attorney Kel Bell is in the building. Good to see you. It's Shia. Okay, shout out to Shia Carper. Thank you so much for your service. I appreciate you. Ashley Bryan says dad is in the United States United States Navy, and a mid-air collision survivor. Oh my gosh. Wow, that is crazy. I'm glad he's still here with us. Oh, look at this. Shout out to Rice Street, light number 207, and a Navy vet. Thank you so much. Thank you for your service, Rice Street. I had no idea. Aircraft carrier CVN 69, Dwight D. Eisenhower. Wow. That's amazing. Shout out to the Charlie Victor Nancy 69 out there. We appreciate you, Rice Street. Thank you so much for your service. That's amazing. That's amazing. JB Brown says dad is an Army vet, or Army Vietnam vet. Brother is Navy supply. All right. Shout out to them. Thank you for your service. I'll be showing love to all of our current and former military as well. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Shout out to Z, says, are we going to discuss the M-bomb from Judge Whitaker? Yeah, I did a whole video on it. It was absolutely hilarious. And it's funny that you say that, because I do have a new sound effect I'm going to premiere today. Y'all ready for it?
These niggas lacking.
Oh, man. Judge Whitaker. I had to put Judge Whitaker on the soundboard. So again, y'all, when it comes to the state, we're going to be using that one. We're going to be using that one pretty often.
These niggas lacking.
All right, so y'all get ready for it. All right, let me double check and make sure I've got everything good to go. We're going to pick it up right back when, let me see, that's not the right video. Max Shart is cross-examining Mr. Cheeseburger. So we're going to hear a little bit from Ms. Hilton. And then after that, we'll continue on with the rest of the day for Tuesday, because there was a lot of good testimony that took place as well. Who else do we have? Shout out to Tatiana. She's loving it.
These niggas lacking.
Yeah, y'all know the state be up in here acting crazy. So we're going to get into it. If the soundbite fits, let them know. Shout out to Star Wars Iron Giant, says, good morning, fam. Happy Veterans Day to my fellow vets I served. Oh, also, okay, in the CVN 79, Harry S. Truman, parachute rigger. Love you, ClassE. I love and appreciate you, Star Wars Iron Giant. Thank you for your service as well. And I hope you enjoy your day. This is your day, man. And thank you for being here with us. Amazing. A lot of Navy in the building. I appreciate y'all. Oh man, I love it. All right, y'all, if you're ready, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. I know y'all get sick of me talking sometimes, so we'll go ahead and get right into the coverage. This is a recap. So again, no court today, but I think it's important for us to go back through some of this testimony, because it plays into what we got to see in the actual video of this Shamel Drinks murder. So let's check out what Mr. Cheeseburger is saying.
The passenger
Mr.
side
Cheeseburger.
door, so this view is not technically familiar to me.
Okay.
For the other three pictures, I would definitely say those views are familiar to me.
So, looking at 69 VV.
That's right, Mark.
And 70 and 76, 72 VV around our state would like to admit 69, 70, and 72 VV.
Okay, those are the three that he recognized?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, those are admitted.
First, looking at State's Exhibit, publishing State's Exhibit 69 VV. These niggas lacking.
The worst thing is, it sounds like she's actually
Now,
saying
looking
it
at
in the
69
court.
VV, is that the view that you had once you exited your vehicle?
Somewhat, yes.
When you say somewhat, tell me, what do you mean?
This view would put me kind of in the pedestrian crosswalk, and I was a little bit behind the car.
So your car is further to the right of this picture?
Yes.
Okay. And when you got out of your car, did you walk back towards the car, in the direction of the car?
Yes.
All right. Looking at 70 VV. And then 72 VV. Is that the shattered window that you just referenced that you saw when you approached the vehicle?
Yes.
Now, when you approached the vehicle, how did you see that the victim looked asleep?
He was slumped.
Well, they just were leaned over, so I got out my car, and then I approached the vehicle, and then I noticed they were kind of just like leaned over. So that was my signification that they were maybe asleep until I noticed the window.
What side of the car did you approach when you saw that he was leaned over and looked asleep?
Considering where my car was, I'm going to say the driver's side. I'm not 100% certain, but I would assume that I would approach on the driver's side, considering where I parked.
Once you saw him inside of the vehicle, what did you do next?
Well, again, I didn't notice any blood, so I thought he was asleep. I think I just kind of continued to survey the car, and then that's when I looked through the driver's side window to the passenger side window and noticed that it was shattered. So then that's when I called 911.
Wow.
And after you called 911, did law enforcement arrive?
Yes.
Did the ambulance arrive?
Yes, I'm assuming so. I don't remember vividly, but yes.
And once law enforcement arrived, did you speak with them about what you just told the jury here today?
Yes.
Court's indulgence for a moment. No further questions.
All right, are there defense questions?
All right, here we go.
This number, pull up 67 DB.
Thank you, Gerard.
Mr. Cheeseborough. Good morning.
Cheeseburger.
My name is Max Shard. I represent Shannon Stillwell, okay? And I just have a couple questions for you. Okay. I'm sorry. Miss Knight, could you please pull up 64 VV? Okay, thank you. Mr. Cheeseborough, just briefly, this, to your recollection, you've identified your car. Is this the moment that you parked and are exiting your car to check on things, essentially?
Yes.
Okay. The red car that you checked on, in this photo, it appears that the car is essentially, when you came across this car, was the car in the crosswalk as it is in this photo?
I would assume so, because at this point there would have been any interference. So yes.
Okay.
Safe to say that it was in the crosswalk.
Just say you don't
While
remember.
you were there, did you see the red car, not your car, the other car that you were checking on, move at all, forward or back?
No.
Okay. And lastly, when you checked on the car, if you know, did you know whether the car was on or off?
It's important.
I do not recall.
Do you have any knowledge about whether the car was in park or drive?
I do not recall.
Do you have any knowledge whether the gentleman that was in the car, whether his foot was on the brake or if the car was merely in park?
I'm not sure what gear the car was in, but I feel like I do remember his foot being on the brake.
Okay. All right, thank you. I have no further questions.
Ms. Weinstein, anything for you? All right, any redirect?
No.
All right, Mr. Cheeseborough, thank you. You are excused. Let's take a convenience break right now, and then y'all can be ready with your next witness.
Yeah, and at this point, I actually gave Max a hard time about this cross-examination because I wasn't seeing the vision. It's like, man, I don't know where he's going. As y'all know, they a lot of the evidence that's going to be presented has been presented. The defense and the prosecution has seen already. So it was just a weird, really quick observation points that he got in there. Now that we've seen the video, the surveillance video from the UPS store, we now know why Max asked those specific questions that he did, because going to the medical examiner, going into what actually happened during this shooting, it seems like there was maybe more to it than, you know, the other detective was able to see.
These niggas lacking.
So let's skip through this little break here, of course, because this is from Tuesday, and then we'll see what goes down when they get back. Here we go. Yeah, Cutthroat Radio says dude's got a creepy voice. It seems like he's kind of doing that on purpose. How are y'all feeling the new sound effect?
Is that the state plans on calling Detective Thorpe next, or coming up sometime soon? Detective Thorpe is the investigator, the lead investigator on the Christian McMillan, Darius Ford double homicide. I have not received, and quite frankly, I don't think it's been released. I haven't received any reports from Detective Thorpe. Now, typically there's an initial investigative report, but my understanding from Ms. Hilton is he wasn't the initial homicide investigator. But I have not received a report indicating it. I'm trying to describe it. When I'm representing someone charged with a homicide, typically there's, it could be 50 pages or whatever. It's a summary and it goes through all the things that they did as part of their work. I don't know, it may be an issue because this case is open and pending and not solved. I don't know why that hasn't been released, at least some rough drafts of the report. My concern is this. I believe that the state is going to try to elicit from Detective Thorpe that while no arrests have been made, while no charges have been filed, their chief suspects are YFN members or IF gang members. I don't know how they're going to verbalize it. But to say that we haven't arrested anyone, but this is who we suspect, and then also I can't get a copy of their rough reports to even check behind that and check behind the work, I think is in.
What is with these police officers and losing reports? It was the same thing with Gaither. We still don't have Gaither's report.
Inappropriate. Crazy. and it handcuffs me. So I'm asking for the rough drafts of the reports. Now, Ms. Hilton did tell me that she's not planning on going into deep detail with this case, and I think she said she was planning on asking like 5 questions. That may mitigate some of my need for the rough drafts of the reports. However, I would definitely absolutely oppose any conclusions of who did this or who's suspected of doing this or anything like that unless I'm given the materials to evaluate that and cross-examine that effectively.
All right, response?
Thank you, Your Honor. So as it relates to Investigator Thorpe, the investigation is still open and pending. And so generally, the reports are not issued until the investigation is completed. And then once that case is turned over, there is a complete.
I would suspect that generally you don't call the detective to testify to a pending investigation. So that, is it available for the defense attorneys to be able to review before examining this witness? He's going to be testifying as to it, correctly? Correct?
Well, he was testifying to certain facts, which is a report that that the defense already had, which was the date of the incident, the location of the incident and the individuals involved in the incident. And that report has been given to defense counsel in discovery. As it relates to any further information regarding the suspects or the fact that they believe that this shooting was targeted, it was a targeted gang shooting.
Come on, Hilton,
that
get it together, lady.
information has been
got it.
developing over the course of the 2 years that this case has been open and pending. I know there is a draft. I do not know if APD releases that draft because it's still a pending investigation. So
Do you have it?
I do not, Your Honor. I do not. I only have the initial report that has been turned over.
Okay. Has the defense talked to Detective Thorpe about this at all? I mean, if y'all just ask him questions,
And Mr. Sharp brought it to my attention during the break. And so that's the only reason why I know there's a draft, because I went and asked Investigator Thorpe, but until it was brought to my attention,
I was actually asking Mr. Sharp if they had asked Detective Thorpe anything, which they're certainly, able to do.
Probably not.
I have not. I mean, the plan for Detective Thorpe to testify about this incident was new to me because I thought
Right, it was new as of this weekend when we
Right.
got the new witness list.
So I have not spoken to him about it, but, and quite frankly, I'd want the reports.
Let me ask you this. I mean, I don't think it's unreasonable to see if we can get the reports, even if they're draft reports, if this detective is going to be testifying about what's in those reports. And we can do it with an instruction that it can not be released to others and that it, can be just used for the purposes of this examination. I mean, I'm fine with putting some strictures on it. And maybe instead of having him next, is he here available right now?
He's here.
Okay, we could maybe take another witness and then give the lunch break for the defense attorneys to be able to talk to
That makes
Detective
sense.
Thorpe.
Yes, they can surely talk to Investigator Thorpe at the lunch hour. He'll be available. As far as the releasing of that report, given the sensitive nature of it, we don't have it.
If you're going to have him testify to it, though, then
But he was testifying to what is in the report that they already have. They already have the report that has who the individuals were.
okay, well, I mean, do y'all want to come up to the bench and we'll review what the testimony is going to be?
Yes.
Okay, come on up. Actually, why don't we do this when we break for lunch? And we'll maybe just take a little bit longer break. Can y'all just call a different witness for now? All right.
Yep,
All right,
we're gonna
let's
keep
get
it
the
moving.
jury out, call a different witness, and we'll deal with this after that.
Sorry about that.
And there is no court today, y'all. This is testimony from Tuesday.
Thank you.
We got Officer Clean Cut up here.
It's Christopher Butler, CHRISTAPHER BUTLER.
Good morning.
Morning.
Mr. Smith, do you mind grabbing one of those mics?
Yeah,
that
Court
move
will
and
be back
speak
tomorrow.
into that so everybody can hear you. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go, Mark. Officer Clean Cut.
Great, thanks.
Lieutenant Butler, where are you employed?
I'm with the City of Atlanta Police Department.
And how long have you been employed with APD?
A little over 14 years.
And what unit are you currently assigned to?
I'm currently assigned to Special Victims Unit.
Wait, they're going deep in the bench. Who is this DA that is talking right now? Yeah, and this is from last Tuesday, y'all. Who is the district attorney that's
All right.
up right now?
March 2022, what unit were you assigned to?
I was a sergeant with the homicide unit at that time.
Okay. Can you tell the jury some of your what your role was and your responsibilities within the homicide unit?
So I worked on evening watch. So our hours were 2 to midnight. And we would respond to any homicide, any kind of suspicious death, suicide. So anytime an officer would raise us, we'd respond out to that location.
Now, are you familiar with the with Vic cameras?
State's bench is looking
Yes,
thin.
those are our cameras that are around the city.
Okay. And what does what are they?
So basically, the city has cameras around the city. Some of them they record all the time, and some of them are license plate readers, which we refer to as LPRs. And currently, businesses are allowed to let us have access to let us know there's cameras there. They kind of operate like security cameras, basically.
Okay. And what is the VIC unit within APD?
Our VIC unit's manned by sworn and civilians. It's a video integration center, so we have people up there 24 hours a day monitoring the cameras. So if a crime occurs, we can radio to them and they can start looking into it off scene while we're handling the scene.
Okay. Now, are you familiar with GDOT cameras?
GDOT, that's our Georgia Department of Transportation cameras. So through our VIC unit, we have access to their cameras as well. And those usually monitor the highways.
And I'm going to tell y'all right now, this GDOT system is insane. When I served on the grand jury here in Fulton County, I got to get an inside look at all the cameras, how they work, how many cameras there are, how they're able to use the cameras to locate vehicles, to locate people. You would be shocked at how accurate this system is, and how, say you're in downtown Atlanta, you leave your keys in your car gets stolen. Within minutes, the police can get the call that your car is stolen, locate it, and find exactly where your vehicle is. It's a really well-built system. But on the other side, you have the security issue that people are concerned about. But overall, this GDOT system is crazy.
Now, can you tell the jury how GDOT cameras operate?
So they're different than ours. Ours are live stream and they record. GDOT cameras don't record. So like when you're watching the news and you're seeing the traffic ebb and flow, GDOT, they just keep going. They don't record, so we can't go back and ask for a recording. They're just live stream.
Okay. Now, is the VIC unit able to look at an integrated map and tell which cameras are working?
Yes, so the way it works, it's we just have a program, and it kind of works like Google Earth and Google Maps. You can zoom in and out. And when we zoom out or zoom in, it narrows down on that and tells us what cameras are there. So whether it's ours or a school, or if it's a GDOT camera, it'll tell us what cameras are there and if they're working or not.
Okay. And if it's a GDOT camera, it tells you it's in real time, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, in your role, is it routine to look at these VIC cameras?
Yeah, typically anytime a call would come up, depending on the location, an officer would respond to the scene and raise us on radio. So before we would respond, I would typically, given the type of crime, if it's on a street or a parking lot location, I'd try to pull up and see if we had any cameras in the area.
Okay. Now, is there any kind of correlation
amazing
between
system.
the VIC cameras, the LPR cameras, and the GDOT cameras?
They're just all manned by the same system that we can access. You know, GDOT has their main hub, we have ours.
And you mentioned LPR system. Can you tell the jury what LPR is?
So it's short for license plate readers, and typically they're just all around the city. They basically are just, their main job is to run tags. Every tag that runs through there, it captures it, takes a picture, and then if we, for investigative purposes, need to locate a vehicle, we can put in the license plate and it'll run it through the system and tell us it'll give us a picture, what intersection and time that it hit.
Okay. I want to turn your attention to March 14th, 2022. Did you assist in the investigation of a murder at Windsor Street and I-20?
Yes, I was on duty at that time.
Okay. And tell the jury what you did.
So typically, the officer would raise us on radio and let us know that they had a male deceased in that vehicle. And like I stated, before we left the office, I went ahead and pulled up our cameras. And we were able to locate that GDOT had a camera that was pointing at 20 in Windsor, so I-20 in Windsor. And it captured that intersection where the crime scene was. And at that time, the camera was actually frozen. So before I left the office, I took a screenshot of it.
That sucks.
Just for preservation, because I didn't know if the camera was going to come back on. And then we would respond to the scene. So myself and other detectives would respond out to the scene, and typically we task them out with different responsibilities, whether it's evidence collection, speaking with witnesses. And I'd kind of just oversee all that and coordinate with crime scene and the medical examiner and notifying other people.
Okay. I'm now going to go ahead and publish what's already been admitted as States 64, Victor, Victor. Lieutenant Butler, I think there's a pointer right behind you. If you can tell the jury what's depicted in States 64, Victor, Victor.
Right, so that's going to be the intersection of Windsor. So the way the camera is facing, it's actually it's pointing south on Windsor Street. And you can see there the
So
car
this officer
at the
responded
intersection
to.
is where the decedent was sitting. And that was just the camera was frozen. So it was sitting there, it just happened to be frozen when we needed it.
Now, is this a GDOT camera or a VIC camera?
It's a GDOT camera.
Okay. And the GDOT camera was frozen?
Correct.
Is it typical for them to freeze?
It just depends. I mean, ours do it. It's technology. Sometimes it, works all the time, and sometimes it just goes down.
Okay. Do you know why this one was frozen?
I have no idea.
Okay.
How convenient.
Okay. And what else did you do?
So we responded out to the scene. Also, when we got out there, we didn't know the vehicle's license plate. So after processing the scene and coordinating with ID or crime scene technicians, we go back to the office, and I took the vehicle's tag and ran it through our license plate readers just to find out where they've been traveling. And so I was able to determine from there, earlier in the evening, that vehicle was caught traveling just northbound towards that intersection.
Okay. Permission to approach, Your Honor?
You may.
Does anyone know who this is?
Lieutenant Butler,
Who's the DA?
just handed you what's been pre-marked as States 121, Victor, Victor. Do you recognize that document?
Yes, this would be our typical, it's a query of that tag and the camera in that area to see what vehicles have passed through that intersection.
Okay. And is that a fair and accurate depiction of the query you ran?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, the state moves to admit 121, Victor, Victor.
No objection.
Admitted.
Now, publishing States 121, Victor, Victor. Okay. Lieutenant Butler, if you could kind of walk the jury, what is depicted in States 121, Victor?
So basically, it's showing that I was the user and performed a query for the LPR, the license plate reader, at Windsor
interesting.
and Richardson.
Are we okay?
And so what it does is it just gives me a list of every car that went through that intersection. And towards the bottom there, you can see the license plate RKM 9343, which was the vehicle the decedent was in. And it had actually hit Windsor at Richardson, which is just south of Windsor and I-20.
And what time was that?
That was at 9:24 and 7 seconds p.m.
Now, did you prepare a report in this case, Lieutenant Butler?
I'm sorry?
Did you prepare a report in this case?
No, I did not.
Court's indulgence, Your Honor.
That's amazing, Denise. Thank them for their service.
Yes.
Wow.
Lieutenant Butler, was that the only image from State 64V? Was that the only image that froze that night?
Yes.
Okay. Nothing further at this time, Your Honor.
Any questions from the defense?
Lieutenant Sergeant or Lieutenant?
Lieutenant now.
Lieutenant. Good morning. My name is Max Shard. I represent Shannon Stillwell. Okay. Just briefly, when you were in the office before going to the scene on March 14, 2022, it sounded like you began your work in the office.
Correct.
Okay. My understanding from your testimonies, we have VIC cameras, which can be divided into different groupings.
Correct.
Okay, so we have the city-owned cameras, which record.
Right.
We have LPRs, which take photos.
Correct.
Okay. Then we have businesses on the grid that record as well.
So depending how the business wants, they can provide access to their cameras, or they can just let us know, hey, there's a camera here. So if an investigation were to go on, instead of knocking door to door, it can kind of streamline us to go straight here instead of walking a whole neighborhood or whatever the case may be.
And then we have Department of Transportation cameras. Are those part of the VIC system?
What's up, Sean?
Well, we just have access to it. Like, they're not controlled by us, they're controlled by the state, but the state allows us access. Like, we also have access to Atlanta Public Schools cameras as well.
Okay. So let me ask you this. To city-owned cameras that record, were there not any city-owned cameras at the corner of 20 and Windsor Street?
Not at the time, no. Not that I could locate.
What do you mean, not that you could locate?
Well, we zoom in and out, and at the time there were no cameras there. But cameras are always getting installed, so at the time of that incident, there were no VIC cameras there.
Okay. You did locate this Department of Transportation camera, and your testimony is it just froze at 10:23 p.m. just as Mr. Cheeseborough showed up?
Correct.
Okay. And we don't have any recording of what happened at that location as seen by that camera from 10 o'clock to 10:23.
Crazy.
To my knowledge, that is correct, yes.
Amazing. Can you imagine if that camera had been recording? Because y'all saw how good of a view we got from that camera. This would have been a whole different story, because what we saw in the UPS footage, it's clear to most of us that either Shannon wasn't the one who killed Shamel Drinks, or he was still alive when that other car pulled up. So it's a lot going on.
When you say to your knowledge that is correct, have you checked with the Department of Transportation?
No,
It's not a part of his investigation.
And the response, and the investigation gets turned over to the lead detective.
Okay.
Interesting.
And going back to, was that the only LPR you ran?
This query?
Yes, the query of, what is it, corner of Richardson and Windsor?
Yes.
Is that the only LPR that you personally ran?
That I ran this, and then I also did the tag itself, to see where else it would hit.
Okay.
And so there was another query, but this one most related to that geographical area.
Understand. The only individual car that you personally looked into or queried was the red
Correct.
Versa.
Right.
Okay. And finally, this VIC camera system, how long have you been working with the system?
I mean, everybody on the department has access to it, so from day one, I mean, anybody can log in and use it. I mean, however, since it's been in existence, so I don't remember when we first started getting it, but it's been some years.
When you say some years, when approximately, you said from day one?
I mean, I can't give an exact date, but I was in Special Victims back in 2018, and we just started getting them, but I really started using them mostly when I was in homicide, which was 2019.
Okay.
Wow,
And
he's
now,
been
are you
all over
saying
the
you
place.
started using them, or that's when they were available?
I don't know the go live date on it.
Okay.
But my most interaction was probably between 2018 and 2019.
How about LPRs?
LPRs, the same. Those actually came out a little before, and it was on a different program, but still the same.
Okay. All right. Thank you. No further questions.
All right. Ms. Weinstein, anything for me?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, any redirect?
Just briefly, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Sergeant Butler, for the years that you've been serving,
Get that man a mic.
in your position, did DOT cameras ever report?
No.
No, perfect.
All right, thank you for your time. You are excused. Call your next witness.
That was an interesting testimony. Again, learning so much about the system. So I think this next witness is not going to be on camera. You know, that long crying cameraman is... Okay, no, this isn't the one that's off camera. My bad. Y'all give me 1 second.
This one first, just want to give the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. I do.
Demetrius Johnson, Demetrius Johnson, JOHNSON.
You may.
Good morning, Officer Johnson.
Good morning.
And where are you employed?
The Atlanta Police Department.
And how long have you been employed with APD?
Coming up 6 years.
All right. And what unit are you presently assigned to?
Presently, I'm assigned to Zone 3 Day Watch.
All right. And going back to March 2022, what unit were you assigned to?
Zone 3 Evening Watch.
All right. And what were the hours of Zone 3 Evening Watch?
3 p.m. to 11 p.m.
All right. Can you tell the jury some of your responsibilities and what your role was at Zone 3 Evening Watch?
As an officer, you just there to protect, serve, patrol, answer 911 calls, help out citizens, you know, make sure everybody's safe and okay.
Okay. Turning your attention to March 14th, 2022, did you respond to a call at Windsor Street and I-20 ramp?
I did.
All right. What was the nature of that call?
It was a signal, well, it was a person shot call that came up.
Okay.
Oh, this is the guy they're saying
And
tip
when you
Young Thugs
responded, were
watch.
you alone or were you with a partner?
I was by myself.
Now, when you arrived, do you recall what time you arrived?
I would say roughly around right before 10:30, around that time, something like that.
Okay. Now, what did you observe when you arrived?
What I observed, it was a red light. I was in my patrol car, and I seen a vehicle, and I just figured that it would just stop at the red light. And then I happened to look over, you know, and that's when I seen the bullet holes. I got out of my car, and I seen a male kind of just slump in his driver's seat, in the driver's seat.
Okay.
A
And
lot
what
of
did you do
officers
next?
responded to this.
I immediately got on radio to confirm the person was shot. And I believe it was a citizen out there talking with me. I just basically just tried to secure the scene until more units arrive, supervisors arrive. That's pretty much what I had did.
Okay. About how long were you on scene before additional units arrived on scene?
I was just the closest officer to it. So I would say about 3 minutes when the next unit arrived.
Okay. And you said that you were the closest officer to it. Why is that?
Well, I was being prepared to end my shift. I was heading to the precinct when the call came up. I was actually on Fulton Street, right by the juvenile courthouse. And, once you get to Windsor, it's just right there. So I was like, well, let me just go and check it out. And that's how I was just the closest officer there.
Okay. I'm now going to publish what's already been admitted in States 67, Victor, Victor. And while we wait for that,
Amy said it's the same watch.
Tell the jury what direction did you what side of the vehicle were you on? Did you approach the vehicle?
I approached the vehicle on the passenger side when I seen it, I believe. I haven't really looked back at the video, so I believe that I approached on the passenger side.
Sure. So right behind you, there's a ruler, and then there's also on the screen now what's depicted in State 67, Victor, Victor.
Okay.
If you could turn around and kind of orient the jury of what's depicted in 67, Victor, Victor.
So pretty much.
There should be a pointer somewhere. I don't know where it is. Yeah.
Behind you.
So as stated, it was a red light, and I noticed the brakes lights was still on. So I knew somebody was still holding the brakes. I really can't. I believe I approached on this side. Like I said, I haven't looked back at the video.
Okay.
But I knew it was just a single car there.
Okay.
And when I approached the car, that's when I saw the mail.
Okay. You can have a seat. Now going to publish what's already been admitted, 72, Victor, Victor.
Let's see more.
And while it's on the screen now. And please tell the jury what's depicted in State 72, Victor, Victor.
So pretty much here, it's definitely when I was able to confirm that it was defects from gunfire that went through the vehicle and where I saw the mail. As you can see, the glass shattered. There was some on the door as well.
Okay. Okay. You can have a seat. Permission to approach, Your Honor.
Man, look at how many shots went through there. I mean, that glass is done. Look at all that.
Permission to approach, Your Honor. Officer Johnson, I'm showing you what's been pre-marked as State 76, Victor, Victor. Do you recognize that photo?
I do.
And what is it?
This is what I saw when I approached the vehicle. Pretty much him being slumped, with his head canted, and I can tell he wasn't alert, conscious, or breathing.
Okay. And is that a fair and accurate depiction of what you observed that night?
Very accurate.
All right. Your Honor, at this time, the state moves to admit 76, Victor, Victor.
Admitted.
Now publishing States 76, Victor, Victor. And Officer Johnson, if you can just describe to the jury what's depicted in State 76, Victor, Victor.
So as stated, once I saw the mail, this is the exact position he was in, but his foot was still holding the brake, and the and it was still in drive. So I became concerned with, the car potentially just rolling off. So, because he was still holding the
And how much time had taken place, though?
You can have a seat. And what did you do next?
I know it was I can't recall which officer, I believe it was a supervisor that came out there. And like I said, our attention
need a
was switched
timeline.
to, let's just put this car in park because it was still in drive. We didn't want it to go rolling off. So that's what we did. I can't recall if I leaned in to put it in park or the other officer did. But I know that it was my effort and somebody else that actually put it in park.
And after you guys put the car in park, what else did you do?
I remember I was trying to look for like shell casings. I don't know if I seen any. It was just standing by for additional units to come. I was also informed to block off a side of a road so no cars can pass through. As I stood by and waited for homicide, because I was first on scene, so homicide wanted to speak with me. And then I soon after got replaced by a morning watch unit.
Did you prepare any reports in this case?
No, I didn't do any reports. Typically, homicide handles these types of cases. They just collect my statement, and I guess they do the report.
Yeah, they did way too much.
All right, defense questions?
Surprising they couldn't find any shell
ahead.
casings either.
Officer Johnson, good morning. My name is Max Shard. I represent Shannon Stillwell, okay?
Good morning.
Good morning. One before that, the car.
That's right, Mark. Thank you, Amy.
Okay. Officer Johnson, my understanding, you were the responding officer, meaning you're the first officer on the scene, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and at the time you arrived, did you observe a Mr. Cheeseborough?
My attention was focused on the car. I believe it was the citizen kind of was trying to tell me what was going on, but I can't recall whether or not if I actually made, just a full conversation with
Uh-oh, hold on.
him. I believe he might have been off to my peripheral vision.
Fair enough. I guess my question should be this. When you arrived, there wasn't a large group of people that were tampering with
No, there was
anything like that?
No, it was just that car, and nobody was near that car. It was, yeah.
And you told us, and I thank you for this, that when you arrived, the car was in drive.
Correct.
Mr. Drink's foot was on the brake.
Yes.
The brake lights were on,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Is that, in the picture, does this picture, and it's 72 VV for the purposes of record, does that picture indicate the brake lights are on?
Yes.
And is that how it was when you arrived?
Yes, because I came from the rear of the vehicle.
Okay. And just one last question. You see how the car is on the crosswalk past where if you were obeying the rules of the road, you would stop, right? This car is past that stop point.
Yes, it's past it.
Okay. What I want to know is, was this car in this position when you arrived, or did it move after you arrived?
When I got there, I don't think the car moved any further. It could have moved before I got there, but once I was there, I didn't observe the car move.
So this is an accurate reflection of the location of the car when you arrived?
Yes, from what I can recall, the best of my ability.
All right, thank you. No further questions.
Any redirect?
Interesting.
All right, thank you, and you are excused, officer.
Oh.
Call your next witness.
State calls former crime scene technician Davis to the stand, and Your Honor, while she's approaching the stand, could I approach you?
You may. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so we got another investigator coming up. While we're waiting for her to get to the stand, let me say some thank you for the super chat. Oh my goodness. My guy Gerard is in here. Shout out to Gerard. Dropped the 2 bomb, and then Amy with the 50 bomb. Oh my gosh. Shout out to Amy. Y'all see all that she does on this channel, all she does in the chat, and she does even more so behind the scenes. So thank you so much, Amy, for the love and for the support. She said with the 50 bomb, congratulations on hitting 75K subscribers today. Let's go. I'm so proud of you. I appreciate all your hard work, and more importantly, you as a person. Shout out to Amy. I love and appreciate everything you are, everything that you do, not only for me, but for everything that we're doing here as well. Yeah, y'all have no idea, man. Y'all have no idea how much Amy brings to this production, to this show. So thank you again, Amy. And make sure y'all say thank you, because she dropped and gifted 10 memberships as well. So if you got a membership from Amy, make sure you say thank you. Thank you so much for that, Amy. I appreciate it. And I got you in the banner too for being a sponsor. Shout out to Mary Sella, says, congratulations, ClassE. Keep going to 75K. Let's go. Candace Yates is in here with the 5 bomb as well. Thank you so much, Candace, for the support. I appreciate y'all. And I'll be reading super chats throughout the show too. Shout out to Amy, man. All right, here we go. Let's keep it moving. I'm gonna skip ahead through this break too. Y'all know we don't take breaks in here. What is this?
I'm sure I've heard that's why they get a little truth, the whole truth, and much truth. I need you to pronounce your first and last name into the mic loudly. You had spelled first and last name, right?
Mm-hmm. Sharon Davis, SharonDavis.
How are you doing, Officer Davis?
I'm well, and yourself?
Doing well. Are you currently a code enforcement officer?
Yes, I am.
Before doing that, were you a crime scene technician?
Yes, I was.
What do you do in your current role?
Inspect properties that are in violation.
When did you move to that when previously being a crime scene technician?
July 4th of this year.
How long were you a crime scene technician?
5 years.
And previous to that time as a crime scene technician, did you work for any other law enforcement agencies?
Well, I started with the city in September of 2018 as a recruit, a police recruit. But no, this is my first law enforcement agency.
And I wanted to turn your attention to March 14th of 2022 for a crime scene that you reported to.
Yes.
And when you came up to the witness stand, did you have an opportunity before testifying that stack of photos and folder to look through some photographs?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm going to grab and ask to the witness for what's marked as State's Exhibit 65, Victor through 115, with 4 of these exhibits have been admitted, so absent 69, 70, 76, and 72.
All right.
And Officer Davis, with those photographs you look through, are they a fair and accurate depiction of the crime scene you responded to that day?
Yes, they are.
Your Honor, at this time the state moves to tender into evidence 65 through 115 minus those 4 omissions.
Those are admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, around what time, or how did you end up to arrive on that scene?
I get what's called raised on the radio. An officer calls in and says we have a homicide raised crime scene, and the person next in the rotation, I happen to be next in the rotation. I answered the call and they said it was on Windsor Street.
And did you end up arriving to Windsor Street?
Yes, I did.
Roughly around what time did you arrive?
I didn't look at the time on the report, but I worked morning watch, which was 11 at night until 7 in the morning. So it was somewhere in between that time.
That's fair. Would looking at a copy of your crime scene report help refresh when you arrived?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm handing the witness. A document that I will mark later for the record's purposes is 65 Victor Victor Zulu. And look at that report. If it refreshes your memory, just look up at me.
Yeah.
What time did you arrive on scene?
A little after 11, a little after 12.
Okay. Now, with you, what's your process when you arrive to a homicide crime scene like this? What are the first steps that you personally do and did in this case?
Well, first you have to let radio know where you are, that you've arrived at your scene. So I get back on the radio and say that I've arrived. Then I look for an officer on the scene or an investigator and ask them to give me a walkthrough. And the walkthrough is just showing you what they have, where items of evidentiary value are located. So you ask for a walkthrough so that you prepare your mind, and then you just start photographing your scene.
Now, I'm going to publish, it's going to come up both on that laptop and also on a screen behind you, what's been admitted as 65 Victor Victor. And when you arrive on a scene, do you typically take either an overall photograph or some way to orient where that crime scene is?
Yes.
And is 65 Victor, well, it's going to come up here in a second.
Y'all let her live, man. Dang.
And while we're pulling that up, I'm going to give you the hard copy stack. Is that first photograph, what is that 65 Victor Victor?
It's showing that I'm at the light that is right under at Windsor Street, and you go underneath the underpass to make the left to get on 20.
Now, I'm going to publish what's as 66 Victor Victor. And is this the vehicle that you responded to that day?
Yes, it is.
I'm going to publish 67 Victor Victor.
As long as it's
now,
not papa.
Was this this car when you arrived, was it in this location and in this form?
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
This is 66. There's no 67 in here. Just respond to what I see.
Look
It
at
was
the
pre-
screen. It
yes.
should be on the screen.
I see. Thank you.
It
Yes.
was admitted a little earlier.
Okay. Yes, that was the vehicle.
And this has 3 lanes of traffic?
Yes, 2 going straight and 1 making the right turn.
Now, I wanted to publish 68 Victor Victor. What was the tag number on this car?
RKM 9343. It was a Texas tag, out of state.
And it had the brake lights on when you arrived?
Yes.
I'm going to publish 69 Victor Victor.
I see you, Lauren.
Now, when you respond to a crime scene such as this that involves a vehicle, is it important to take photographs of different angles of that car?
Yes, it is.
Why is that?
Just to orient you so you can clearly see when I stepped back further, you're catching more of the street and the lights.
And when you arrived, was the door, do you recall if the door was open like this?
Yes, the door was open. If the door was closed, it would not have been open until the medical examiner came and opened it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Or if fire came, they may have opened it, but I don't open doors.
That makes sense. I'm going to publish what's been admitted as 70 Victor Victor. And I'm going to go to a closer up of 72 Victor Victor. Now, where were the defects in this vehicle, if any?
On the passenger side, more on the passenger side, and just one on the driver's side.
And we're going to walk through some that are closer up, but I wanted to, so primarily were they concentrated on the passenger side versus the driver?
Correct.
I'm going to publish 73 Victor Victor. And do you see any defect, and we'll zoom in just a little bit on the left side of that window?
Yes.
And I'm going to ask you and use real quickly, there's a wooden pointer. If you would be so kind, or if you could be so kind to just point out any defects you see.
From here or where?
Using the big screen so the jury can see it. Thank you.
Okay.
And if you need my help, I can use the pointer.
You have a defect here, here,
Oh, why can't we see?
And
Come on,
here.
Law and Crime, get it together.
or that might be a leaf.
We'll have a picture that is a little bit closer here. So I'm going to publish 74 Victor Victor. Is this a closer up of those first two defects?
Yes.
I'm going to go to 75. Inside of that front passenger door.
I don't see it in the door.
But this is the this is
inside,
opening.
The interior front.
This is egregious. Why does Mr. Kokomo have stickers on his laptop? I'm sorry, this just bothers me. I can't do it.
Passenger door.
Thank you. Now I'm going to publish
Side note.
76 Victor Victor. Now, what do we have in this photograph?
You always take a photograph of all sides if you possibly can. So it's to establish what's going on the passenger side, and that I can see what's going on the driver's side.
And in this vehicle, did you collect or identify any items?
Yes.
What were they?
There was a firearm in the front passenger seat right here.
And
Is
was
there any way that you can reorient yourself so that you're facing the jury? You can just maybe scoot back here and,
Sorry.
that's okay.
Is that better?
Yeah.
that is perfect.
Why can't we see?
I'm going to publish 77 Victor Victor. Is this a close-up of the firearm you were just discussing?
Yes, it is.
Now, is the glass underneath or on top of that firearm?
On top.
And what window was it in the car that was shattered?
The front front passengers.
And is that the window immediately next to where that firearm and glass is?
Yes.
I'm going to publish 78 Victor Victor. Is this a
Yes.
photograph from the opposite side, the driver's side?
Yes.
I'm going to go to 79.
Hold on, I need to answer this, y'all. Give me a second.
And is this a closer up photograph?
Yes, so this would be my photo called Overall a Victim in front driver's seat.
And do you see his feet in this photograph?
On the pedals, like he was waiting at the light.
And what direction is his head resting? Is it to the left or to the right?
To the left.
I'm going to publish 80 Victor Victor. Is this a close-up? I'm going to go to 81. This photograph, where is his left hand?
On his left thigh.
And is that where his hand was when you processed this scene?
Yes.
I'm going to go to 82 Victor Victor. Is this another angle from what would be the passenger viewpoint?
Yes.
And where is his right hand?
I think I don't know if it was in his pants or his jacket.
We will have a photo here in just a second. I'm going to go to 83 Victor Victor. Is this the back seat of the car?
Yes, it is.
I'm going to move to 84. Now, do you see more clearly these defects in the passenger door here?
Yes, there's the one there on the door handle, and the one here, and the one in the window. There could have been one here, that's why it shattered, but I can't say for certain.
And you remember that first photograph or one of the first photographs we introduced where it showed the 3 lanes of traffic?
Yes.
So if I was seated or a vehicle was seated in that middle lane immediately to the right of that car, if shots were fired, would it enter that side of the vehicle?
Yes, it would.
I'm going to publish 85 Victor Victor. Is this a close-up of that defect?
Yes, it is.
I'm going to go to 86. Now, what do we have here?
A latent print.
Now, what did you do, or were you ever requested to do anything with this latent print?
To recover it and submit it to the latent department.
How does that process work? And I'm going to go to 87 while you, Victor Victor, while you describe this.
You will look for a latent print, you photograph it, you mark it just so that it's in a frame, give you an idea of the size of it. You lift it, then you fill out the card, you submit it to the latent team, and they'll come back and tell you if you got a hit or not.
And have you had to do that sometimes for crime scenes you've responded to?
I'm sorry.
Have you had to collect latent prints? Is it usually at the request of either an investigator or officer?
It's at the request of an investigator if they see something, but if you're looking for a print, as the crime scene technician, you're always looking for prints. I see prints on people's cars when I'm driving by, and I'm like, what a nice print. So that's something you look for. It's part of your job.
It's hard to unsee it once you... I'm going to go to 88 Victor Victor. Now, is this the driver's side door?
Yes, it is.
And do you see a defect on this door?
Yes, I do. It's right here.
Now, in relation to the door, is that defect higher or lower on the door?
Lower.
I'm going to go to 89 Victor Victor. Is this the inside of that driver's side door?
Yes, this is the interior front driver's door.
Do you see, that defect that we just discussed on the outside of the driver door?
Yes.
Do you see any defects?
That was funny.
On the inside of this door?
Yes, right here.
And that was the only defect on the left side of the vehicle?
Yes.
I'm going to publish 90 Victor Victor. Is this a closer up of that defect?
Yes.
I'm going to go to 91 Victor Victor. Now, on a homicide scene that you process, you've described, or you initially take photographs of the deceased victim as they are when you arrive. Is that?
Yes.
And then do you ever take photographs of the scene, or in this case, the vehicle, with them removed?
Yes.
And who handles or moves? How does that work?
The medical examiner removes the deceased.
And then you continue to photograph whatever crime scene, in this case, the vehicle that you are processing?
Yes, or I do it immediately after because I'm still focusing on
Shiesty.
the victim that has been removed. So then I'll start photographing them. Once the medical examiner removes them, then I will photograph in the vehicle.
And is this one of the first photographs that you captured or took after the victim had been removed from the car? I'm going to publish 92 Victor Victor. Is this a close-up of the driver's side of that vehicle?
Yes.
And what do we have on the driver's side seat?
We call it reddish brown stains because we can't say blood, but
Understood.
and it looks like biological evidence here, but I'm not sure, but it's reddish brown stains.
I'm going to publish 93 Victor Victor. Is this a close-up of what we were just discussing?
Gosh, it's a lot of blood.
What is that in the middle?
I believe it was a chain. I'm not sure. I thought it was a gold chain.
And this is the driver's side.
I hate to be so graphic.
Victor Victor.
But this is interesting. Let's get into this picture again. if I can get it to rewind. What we're seeing here really goes into, again, this just doesn't make any sense. If what the medical examiner was saying was correct, right? Why would someone who was shot just sit there? Like this, all the blood, you don't see blood over on this seat like someone tried to move around. You don't even see blood at the front of the seat or on the sides. There's blood in this one spot. Why? Because the medical examiner said he was shot a couple of other places, but mainly the fatal shot was at the base of his skull. What happens when you get shot in that spot? Right? You're done. You slump over. This man did not move. He wasn't jumping. He didn't move around. He wasn't having his hands on the steering wheel trying to get away. I mean, he was instant just slumped, right? So if that's the case, and this man was just sitting here, how does his car in the video that we saw, after Shannon and the other car drive away, he moves forward, or he's got his foot on the brake, he moves forward, and then he puts his foot on the brake again. Then the other car pulls up, nothing, lights out. I mean, this man was just sitting there in his own blood. It doesn't make sense. Something is completely off with this. And I think I'm with y'all. That third car, it had to be it, because there's no way that this man would have moved the car after Shannon and the other car drove off. It had to be the third car. I mean, look at this. All the blood. I mean, it's like he slumped over and the blood ran down. I know this is super graphic. Ran down the back of his shirt, down his back, and pulled right in the car. There's blood here from where he was shot in the leg. Make it make sense.
It's reddish brown stains.
I'm going to publish 93 Victor. Is this a close-up of what we were just discussing?
Yes.
And what is that in the middle?
Christy said the cop was the third car. Oh my.
I believe it was a chain. I'm not sure. I thought it was a gold chain.
And this is the driver's side seat?
Yes.
I'm going to publish 94 Victor. Now, is this a photograph of the deceased victim after being removed from the car?
They ran the red light.
And after his hands had been bagged by the medical examiner.
And is this process from the medical examiner?
Yes.
I'm going to go to 95 Victor.
Yeah, and Slime Life has a great question. She says, okay, y'all, why do we think Shart hasn't brought up the third car? He mentioned it, and this is how I was able to put all the pieces together. He asked very specific questions to the medical examiner, to Mr. Cheeseborough, to, we're calling him, I think, what's his name? Detective Hogan? Is that his name? We call him Detective Santa Claus. He asked him some very specific questions because I have a feeling once the defense calls their witnesses, he's just going to have somebody blow their entire case when it comes to this Shamel Drink shooting out of the water. So he's just laying the groundwork, and he's going to put it all before the jury and say, hey, y'all remember when this happened? Go back to the video from the detective. None of this makes sense. Reasonable doubt, not guilty. What's up,
Now,
Kyrese?
is this a close-up of the deceased victim?
Well, it's more of a close-up of the defect in his neck.
And where is that?
Shout out to Mr. Cheeseburger.
And is that the left or right side of his neck?
Right.
And is it that spot right there in the middle of that blood trail?
It's right here.
I'm going to publish 96 Victor. Do you see any defects in this jacket?
Yes, there was one on his right arm.
I'm going to publish 97 Victor. Is that a close-up of the defect in his right arm?
It's a close-up of the defect in his jacket.
Understood. I'm going to go to 98 Victor. Thank you for that. Is this a photograph of his arm?
Yes, this is an overall of the defect, overall of right arm with defect in his arm.
And does that correspond with the right shoulder defect in the jacket?
Yes.
I'm going to go to 99, Victor Victor.
And can we just all acknowledge how long that red light was, by the way? That's got to be the longest red light in the history of red lights. I know they got some long red lights here in Atlanta, but sheesh, that red light had him there forever.
I'm going to go to 100, Victor Victor. I'm going to go to 101, Victor Victor. 102, Victor Victor. Now, and 103, Victor Victor. With some of these photographs, do you take photographs of the victim in different angles in a homicide crime scene after they have been removed by the Fulton County Medical Examiner?
Yes, you do the front of them when the medical examiner turns them over. You do the back of them, and then you do the back of their head.
Now, in this case, you had mentioned a firearm. Is that placard number 1 the firearm that you found in the vehicle?
Yes, it is.
I'm going to publish 104, Victor.
He should have
Victor.
been gone, Sean.
Is this a close-up of that with the placard number 1?
Yes, it is.
And what did you do with that firearm?
I removed it. I take it back to the annex. I put it in a super glue chamber, and you process it for prints. And then after you do that, you submit it upstairs to the crime lab, and they do ballistic testing to see if it's been used in any other crime.
And you, in this case, basically, when you have firearms on a scene, you will collect them and preserve them like you just described.
Yes, an officer makes it safe. I don't touch it until they make it safe with gloves on their hands, and then it's put in a box, and I take it back to
You see that, Jasmine?
to my office.
And did you do that process in this case?
Yes, I did.
I'm going to go to 105, Victor Victor. Is this a photograph of the firearm you collected and put it in the evidence box?
Yes, it is.
I'm going to go to 106, Victor Victor. And then you take a close-up of the serial number.
Yes.
107. Now, what is placard number 2?
They discovered a cell phone in his pocket.
And was that collected?
Yes, it was collected and turned over to one of the investigators on the scene.
What did we find on the cell
And
phone?
I'm going to go to 108, Victor Victor. Now, do you see that sticker that's on the vehicle now?
Yes.
What is this process?
It's just to note the defect. So this was the defect in the front driver exterior door.
I'm going to go to 109, Victor Victor. Is this a close-up of that defect in the front driver door?
Yes.
And do you mark it with sticker A?
Yes.
Now, are you able to tell from looking at this if that is was created from or if that is either an entry or exit wound of the vehicle, so to speak?
I'm not a specialist, but what I've seen from doing this is that when it has this little bend here, it looks like it came out. If it was going in, it would be more dented in, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. And you had 3 defects on the right side of the car, right?
Yes.
And this was the only
That's a weird looking angle on that shot too.
Is that when
I'm no expert, but why does it look like it entered from a lower angle of the car? Is that just me?
it has this little bend here, it looks like it came out. If it was going in, it would be more dented in, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. And you had 3 defects on the right side of the car, right?
Yes.
And this was the only defect on the left? On the driver's side, I should say.
Front driver's door.
I'm going to go to 110, Victor Victor. Do you also capture the defects on the right side of the vehicle?
That would, yes, that's the front passenger door.
I'm going to go to 111, Victor Victor. Is this the defect in the front passenger window that you marked with a B?
Yes.
I'm going to go to 112, Victor Victor. With a B.
Yes.
I'm going to go to 112 in the front passenger window that you marked with a B.
Sorry, y'all. Just looking at this. This shot doesn't make sense. Again, I'm not an expert. This is in the passenger side. Y'all remember? I should have pulled up the video. Y'all remember where the third car was parked? It was parked further back behind Shamel Drinks' car. Look at the angle of this. Again, I'm not an expert, but look at the angle of this shot. It looks like it's coming from someone either who was not directly next to the car, or it looks like the shot came from a diagonal angle into the car. And again, that wouldn't make sense because these dudes were directly next to it. So if Shannon did it and he was right next to them, why would this bullet enter the car at this angle? Again, I don't know. I'm just looking at this as a regular person. I'll let the experts handle it. Strange.
Yes.
I'm going to go to 112, Victor Victor. Is this the third defect sticker that you have as a C?
Yes.
I'm going to go to 113, Victor Victor. Is that also a defect that you captured?
Yes.
And 114, Victor Victor. Now, what does this slide indicate?
When a victim is on the scene and they do not have ID on them, they being the homicide
Great point,
unit,
Mr. Spiffy.
will request another, check the zone and see if there is a zone that has an officer with a mobile scanning unit. And someone came to the scene with this unit.
And does it confirm the identity of a homicide victim on scene?
Yeah, so they take the person's finger and they put it right there, and then it comes back with information, and his name is up here.
And can you state that name at the top?
Yes. It is Drinks Shamel Dash.
And is some of it cut off as the middle name? But Shamel Drinks.
Yes.
I'm going to publish the next photograph. Was this some items collected or in Mr. Drink's pockets?
Yes.
I'm going to go back to, just go back a couple slides to where it shows the 3 defect stickers on the door. Now, you remember when we were talking about the wound, the bullet hole in the right side of Mr. Drink's neck?
Yes.
Do you remember when we discussed the jacket that had the bullet hole on the right side of the jacket?
Yes.
And do you remember when we showed the photograph with the bullet hole on the right arm of Mr. Drinks?
Yes.
With where this vehicle is placed and the 3 defects on the passenger side door, if the shots came from the right side of that vehicle, is where the bullet wounds are on Mr. Drinks on his right side, consistent with that, right neck and right arm?
Consistent with what?
Bullets coming from the passenger side door to where he's seated.
Yes.
What? Wait, hold on. I gotta run. What was this question?
These niggas lacking.
From the
We gotta run this back. And I see y'all having some great conversation in the chat about this too. Because it sounds like he's trying to ask her if the shots were taken through the passenger side
from the right
window?
side of that passenger side door. If the shots came from the right side of that vehicle, is where the bullet wounds are on Mr. Drinks on his right side, consistent with that, right neck and right arm?
Consistent with what?
Bullets coming from the passenger side door to where he's seated.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he just asked that terribly. So, yeah, did he get shot from the right side of the car is what he's asking. Jeez.
These niggas lacking.
One brief moment, Your Honor.
Sure.
And shout out to Amber. Appreciate you.
I'm going to go back to 90 Victor.
Hey, Judge Whitaker said it, Kyrie. It's not me.
Now, you know how we talked about that defect, and we're going to zoom in just a little bit in that door, on the inside of the door.
Yes.
Does that correspond with the defect on the outside of the driver's side door?
Yes.
So there's one defect on the driver's side door.
The front driver's door.
The front driver's door.
Yes.
Thank you. One brief moment, Your Honor. Thank you very much. Officer Davis, no further questions from the state.
Defense questions?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Officer Davis, how are you?
I'm well. How about you?
I'm okay. My name is Max Shard. I represent Shannon Stillwell, okay?
Yes.
Okay. I know you got a lot of pictures in front of you, and I'm going to ask you about some of them, okay?
Okay.
All right. Okay. Thank you for your patience. My understanding, if we could display Miss Knight 105 VV. This is the firearm that you collected from the red Nissan Versa, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And
It's the one that
do
wasn't
you
fired.
know, and if this is outside your expertise, just let me know, okay? Do you know what type of firearm it was?
I believe it was a 9mm.
Okay. And was it loaded?
Yes.
Okay. And you were able to obtain a serial number from this firearm?
Yes.
Correct? Okay. Now, I noticed, and you can thank you, Miss Kennedy. I noticed in the pictures that were published, Mr. Drinks's, you said his hands were bagged.
Yes.
Okay. Is that, in my understanding from your testimony, is that the medical examiner on the scene bagged his hands?
Yes.
Okay. As a crime scene technician, do you know the reason for why his hands were bagged, or why hands are bagged generally in a situation like this?
It's to preserve evidence on there, like gunshot powder residue.
Okay. On the deceased hands?
Yes.
Okay. So that is to preserve gunshot residue?
Yes.
Okay. The cell phone, could you publish 107 VV, please? So, Officer Davis, when you were working as a crime scene tech, and you took over a scene, did you have the discretion about what evidence to collect, or were you instructed by the lead investigator or someone else about what should be collected?
So I don't take over a scene. I work under the direction of the homicide investigator. There are things that I know how to do from training, such as lifting prints and photographing, but then they give an input as to what they want. They might see something that you didn't see, and it has happened vice versa, where I've seen things on a scene that they haven't seen.
Understood. You collected a cell phone that's pictured in 107 VV, correct?
So I recovered it and I gave it to the homicide investigator on the scene.
Okay, so that is something that, in your experience and expertise, you deemed important enough to provide to the lead investigator?
No, they tell me they want it. Okay.
Oh, so that was, and that's what I was trying to.
Okay.
So that was an instruction from the lead investigator? Was it from Investigator Hogan?
Yes, it was.
To make sure you collect this cell phone?
Well, I would have collected it anyway because it's evidence. It would have either come to me, or if the investigator wants it, they take it first and then they put it back in property.
Understood. Now, and you personally collected it?
I recovered it from the jacket, I put it in a bag, and then I handed it to the investigator on the scene.
Okay, and you just said something that I didn't know. So this phone in this picture, it's resting on Mr. Drink's arm. Was it recovered from inside his jacket, or was it?
No, and it's funny, I didn't even notice it. I thought it was in his jacket pocket. So the 2 is there because I can't put it on the phone.
Okay, so that's how you found it?
Yes.
Okay, and it was plugged in when you recovered it?
There was a plug at the end. I don't know if it was in the car.
Interesting.
The car part.
And
yeah.
May I approach, John?
You may.
I'm still all centered. This is going to drive me nuts.
Officer Davis, I'm
Should be good
approaching
now.
you with what's been marked as DS55. Do you recognize that photo?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And in fact, it's quite similar to 114 VV that's already in evidence, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And what is in that photo?
It's the GBI results.
Okay. The GBI results for what?
For the victim that was scanned, the finger, and it came back to Drinks Shamel.
Okay. And permission to publish, or Your Honor, at this time I move to admit DS55 into evidence.
DS. Oh, I thought you wanted me to confirm. Sorry.
Oh.
Admitted.
Thank you. Permission to publish.
You may.
Mr. Kokomo, if you would. Okay. And so my question is this your thumb?
My thumb, no. I don't
holding the machine?
That would have been the medical examiner or the officer that brought it on the scene, whoever had it in their hand, because it's real fast. I have my camera. That's how that's photographed, so I can't be holding this and photographing at the same time.
So you took this picture?
I took the picture, yes.
You were there when the scanning occurred?
Yes.
Okay. We, the state asked you about confirming the identity. From you being at the scene, prior to the use of this machine to scan the fingerprint, was the identity of Mr. Drinks known?
Not to me.
Okay, so this, to your understanding, this machine and the results from the print was not to confirm an identity, it was to learn an identity of Mr. Drinks.
Yes.
Okay. And at what time was this device used to learn the identity of Shamal Drinks?
I don't know what time it says.
Does it say 1:06 a.m. on DS55? In the
Yes.
top right? Mm-hmm. Okay, is that timing correspond and seem accurate from your experience that night?
It seems accurate for such simple cases. It was a small scene, and the medical examiner's office is not far from there. So if I was somewhere else and they were busy, it could have been 2 hours later.
Okay, but you would agree that this DS55 indicates that this machine was used to determine the identity of Shamal Drinks at 1:06 a.m.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know obviously Investigator Hogan,
Yes, I
and
do.
he was at the scene prior to 1:06 a.m.
He was what? At the scene
Prior to 1:06 a.m.
There were several homicide investigators there.
What about an Investigator Flores with the gang unit? He was there that night too, wasn't he?
It's possible. I don't remember.
Okay.
She don't
All
recall.
right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Further questions?
Ms. Weinstein, any questions for this witness? No, Your Honor. All right, any redirect?
What else can they say? Nothing.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you for your time. You're excused, and we'll take our lunch break right now. Let's be back at 12:20 right now. Let's plan to be back at 1:30.
All right, there it is. Shout out to the state. That was dope. I want to go through some more of this testimony. But as y'all can see, no, Jackie, there's no court today. This is court from last Tuesday because we're really going to spend a lot of time getting into this whole Shamal Drinks murder because it's looking more and more like Shannon. Was he involved? Maybe. Did he actually shoot him? I am not seeing it. I think y'all would say the same thing as well. We really got to look at this quote unquote evidence because the state is trying to put this together and we're really not seeing at all how it points directly to knowing beyond the shadow of a doubt that Shannon did this. But I do want to acknowledge not only some of the super chats, but some of our men and women in the chat who served in the military. Oh my gosh, where did Samantha go? Samantha said, happy Veterans Day to me. 28 years total. Oh my God. I was proud to serve and happy to support my country. It's an honor. Samantha, thank you. Thank you so much for your service. That is absolutely amazing. So honorable. I appreciate it more than I can even say. And I'm so grateful for the sacrifice that you gave to this country and that you continue to do as well. 28 years is amazing. Floyd, the real deal, Neil. Former military as well. Thank you for your service. I appreciate you. Rice Street, I think I mentioned earlier. Oh my gosh. Amazing. Amazing, man. Thank y'all so much. Who else did I miss? I think I said Lauren. Thank you to Lauren as well. Lauren Robinson in the chat for her service. Shout out to Voodoo Child, 21 years and counting. Oh my goodness. Shout out to the lifers in the building. I appreciate y'all. Kyrese is a veteran too. Wow. Shout out to my Marines out there. My goodness. Yeah, y'all made me who I am today for sure. I love it, man. Thank you. Thank you to all the military who are in the building. I appreciate y'all. I also want to give a big shout out to who do we have in here? Hold on a second. Did I get these in here? I think I might have missed a couple of these. Shout out to Slime Life with the 2 bomb. Says, thank you, ClassE and Amy, for your dedication and hard work. Hey, we don't know how to do it any other way. Thank you for being here, Slime Life, and your continued support as well. Shout out to Zaasia Finally got the name right. I was calling her Z for the longest time. She said my name is pronounced like Asia. I prefer Asia. Shout out to Asia in here. I got it right this time. Also, Amber Rain, my favorite, gifted 10 memberships. Thank you so much, Amber. If you got a membership from Amber, make sure you say thank you. And then, of course, my guy, Floyd, the real deal, Neil, aka Pretty Boy Floyd, one of the amazing servicemen and women here that served in our military. Thank you so much for your service. And he says with the 2 bomb, if SB did it, ClassE don't have 75K. All right, shout out to the 75K. We just hit 75,000 subscribers today, so thank y'all for that. Crazy. At the beginning of this year, I had a goal. I was like, man, I hope I hit 20,000 subscribers. Yeah, y'all went way above and beyond on that one. So thank you all for the continued support, and thank you for subscribing as well. We're going to keep going. We got a lot more we got to get to. Let me see. Mark says, my uncle was a Korean War vet. Never would talk about it. Yeah, most of them don't. Most of them don't. Also, shout out to Donna, says, congrats on 75K. Thank you, Donna. I appreciate it. What else did I miss? Did I miss anybody else? Did I miss anybody else? Yeah, and Ray Riley says, thanks to all the vets for your service and love of this nation. I love this country, man. I love it so much. Let me see what else. What's Amy? Is Amy in there being reckless? No, I think we're good. All right, let's skip ahead through this lunch break.
Well,
and see if we hear any more about this.
145. I think we've got a matter we need to deal with. So 145 for y'all.
With this Shamel Drinks murder. So we're going to skip way ahead. Let's see. All right, so it looks like coming back out of the break, we have some more witnesses on the stand. Amy, what you talking about over there? I missed it. Floyd is, he's saying that he said 100K by the new year. Floyd, I will cry on the live stream if we hit 100K by the end of the year. I think we can get 90. 100K would be crazy.
Thank you. You'll swear on next witness.
Oh, yeah. Amy said what? Nah, you got to pass that number. Amy did say that. Thank you.
I do. That's it. State spell your first and last name for the courts. Yes, sir. Detective J. Thorpe Jr. T.H.O.
Oh, hold on a second. Yeah, we don't rock with Thorpe over here. Sorry.
P.E.
And good afternoon, Detective Thorpe. How are you?
Good afternoon, ma'am.
I want to welcome you back. And I want to really direct your attention to March of 2022. Have you been assigned the homicide investigation of the death of a Christian McMiller and Darius Ford?
Yes, I have been.
And when did that homicide occur?
It happened March 11th, 2022.
And where was the location of that homicide?
It was 7585 North at Fair Street, City of Atlanta, Fulton County, State of Georgia.
And is that still an open and pending investigation?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, shout out to Shannon says, how is there a gunshot in the driver's door? I think they were saying that was an exit, but I'll have to go back and look at it.
I think I have no further questions.
Any defense questions?
No questions. No questions.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Wait, what? What just happened?
These niggas lacking.
She asked him one question? What is going on here? Donna said, in and out in 30 seconds. Lord. Yeah, nobody wants that. At least Give us a little bit something. He showed up today in that nice black, that's almost like a charcoal gray suit. I like that suit. I'm not gonna lie. To ask him that?
The homicide investigation of the death of a Christian McMiller and Darius Ford.
What is going on here?
Really direct your attention to March of 2022. Have you been assigned the homicide investigation of the death of a Christian McMiller and Darius Ford?
Yes, I have been.
And when did that homicide occur?
It happened March 11th, 2022.
And where was the location of that homicide?
It was 7585 North at Fair Street, City of Atlanta, Fulton County, State of Georgia.
And is that still an open and pending investigation?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Any defense questions? No questions. No questions. All right, thank you for your time. You're probably our fastest witness yet.
Yes,
you are
ma'am.
excused. Call your next witness.
What? What was that? What was the point?
State calls Rebecca Cooper Jackson to the stand.
And if y'all want to find the links to Amy's channel, it'll be in the description going forward. Why is it doing this? I guess they didn't want to keep him up there long because he's got the squirrel brain going on.
Well, clearly we've fallen off of our having them pass each other, coming in and going out. So if we could get back to that, it would be great.
Yes, Your Honor. She should be here momentarily. She was quite close to the courtroom when I left her, so something may have came up.
Nobody anticipated that witness being quite as fast as they were, I guess.
Dang. 30 seconds. We gotta do better there. But y'all know.
These niggas lacking.
Nobody's surprised. If we could get this to low, we would be good. Here we go. I should have just left it alone. That's my bad, y'all. Thank you, Nisha. Appreciate it.
Raise your hand. You swear to the testimony you give today the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
She was in the bathroom.
All right, you just state your first and last name. And spell your first and last name loud to that microphone, please.
Rebecca Cooper Jackson, REBECCA, Cooper, COOPER, Jackson.
JACKSON. Yeah, we know.
Ma'am, how are you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Good
Can you
Lord.
tell the jury where you are currently employed?
How does she spell
Currently,
Jackson?
I work for the Atlanta Police Department Crime Lab.
And what do you do for the Atlanta Police Department Crime Lab?
I am a latent print examiner. I'm the supervisor of that section.
Can you explain what you do as the supervisor of that section?
Sure. Currently, I supervise a small group of latent print examiners. We retrieve evidence. We submit evidence for searches in our APHIS system. We do comparisons, analysis for all evidence that revolves around latent prints.
Now, how long have you been in the supervisory position?
Almost a year now.
how long have you worked with Atlanta Police Department?
Since 2021.
When you came on in 2021, what was your role?
I was a senior latent print examiner at that time.
And did you remain a
do that.
senior latent fingerprint analyzer until becoming supervisor?
I did.
Now, before working for Atlanta Police Department, where did you work before?
I worked for the Georgia Bureau of Investigation.
When did
Nice.
you first begin working for the GBI?
Back in 2019 or 17, I believe.
And what were you hired for at the GBI?
The same. I was a latent print examiner. I had recently graduated from the International Latent Print Examiner Training Academy before starting on there.
What did that academy entail in regarding training?
So it was about 5 months of rigorous training on an Army base in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And we learned the history of fingerprints, how to compare latent prints. We also learned how to collect evidence, latent print evidence, to testify. We discussed court testimony, also ethics and bias, how to handle evidence, and essentially anything that had to do with latent print evidence that would be submitted in court cases.
Asia said she looked like Moontuk. All I hear now is what I see her is Ms. Love, Ms. Love, Ms. Love.
After that training, did you have any training
Sounds
within
like
the GBI
exhilarating training,
before
by the way.
reviewing cases there?
I did. I also had mostly repeat training, getting acclimated to their system, how they wrote reports and things of that nature.
Now, what is your educational background before working at the GBI?
I hold a degree in biological sciences from Howard University.
And if you had to ballpark in terms of either conducting the analysis yourself or as a supervisor, how many latent fingerprints have you analyzed?
Thousands.
Voodoo, don't
It's
do
hard to
that.
quantify it. I not only do casework or previously did casework, but I also peer review others' casework, so it adds up pretty quickly.
And is peer review a part of the typical process?
It is. Latent print examiners utilize the ACE-V methodology, and so we analyze, compare, evaluate, and then verify latent print casework. And so the V, the verification, would be an equivalent to a peer review, a kind of a check and balance system.
Your Honor, at this time, the state tenders Ms. Cooper Jackson as an expert in latent print analysis.
All right, she is so qualified and may testify as such.
Thank you,
Nice.
Your Honor. Now I wanted to ask you, can you explain that acronym that you just used for the process?
Sure. Again, it's ACE-V, and it is an acronym for analysis, comparison, evaluation, and verification. During the
I apologize. Keep going.
No, during the analysis phase, a latent print examiner would receive the evidence and analyze the images or lift cards that he or she received. They are looking for characteristics that make each fingerprint unique. During the comparison phase, the examiner would be given or search and find another latent print or a known print to compare it to. And we would do a side-by-side analysis of both the latent print and the fingerprint that has been presented for comparison. After doing that, we compared the minutia, the characteristics of the latent fingerprint, and come to essentially a decision. That's the evaluation phase. And then after that, that fingerprint will go on to another qualified examiner to be verified, and that's the V.
Now, I wanted to ask you about a couple terms that you may come across. What is friction ridge skin?
So friction-ridge skin is simply the skin that you find on the palms of your hands or the soles of your feet. It has ridges and furrows. It allows us to grasp objects, or walk without slipping. It's what's giving us traction to hold things.
What is an inked fingerprint?
So an inked fingerprint is typically described as an intentional reproduction of the friction-rich skin. So it's intentionally done. If you go for a job interview or perhaps you are interested in adoption, I think you have to have your fingerprints taken. If you work in a bar or as an Uber driver, it's essentially intentionally taking the fingerprints. You know you're having your fingerprints taken, and there's a technical person who is assisting in that process.
How would you describe what a latent print is in general?
A latent print is an unintentional reproduction of friction-rich skin. So if you casually touch a table or pick up a bottle of water, you are leaving your fingerprints on that object.
Uh-oh.
Now, what are the basic principles for using fingerprints as a way to identify someone?
So typically, we've been given the premise that no two individuals have the same fingerprints. Fingerprints are formed in utero, both outside environment factors as well as in factors inside the womb control when the fingerprints are developed, how they developed, and so on. There are 3 different types of fingerprint patterns. But what makes the fingerprints unique are the minutia, or we refer to them more commonly as the characteristics.
Now, I wanted to approach you with what's been marked as 122 Victor Victor through 122 Victor Victor Charlie.
So is that a Victor 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 Alpha?
Yes,
Bravo
Your Honor.
and Charlie? Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. And before testifying, were you able to review these documents?
Y'all are great. Y'all are
What
amazing.
are those exhibits that I just handed you, 122 Victor Victor and Alpha through Charlie?
The first is a latent print hit report, and it has the name of an individual who was searched on our APHIS database back in 2022, it looks like. The second is a copy of the fingerprint card of that individual. And the last is the comparison, a screenshot of the comparison that was done on our APHIS system.
And are those all documentation that you personally were involved with, either creating or reviewing?
Correct.
And are they a fair and accurate depiction of the documents for that latent print analysis that you did?
Yes, for the most part. The photocopy is a little smudged, I guess, but for the most part.
Serious question. Voodoo Child, I think you said this as a joke, but you said, what if I burn my fingertips? As a street dude, or somebody who's in the streets, or somebody who's regularly committing crimes, why wouldn't the first thing you would do, why wouldn't getting rid of your fingerprints be one of the first things that you would do? You know what I'm saying? Like, why wouldn't you be like, all right, I'm in the street life, let me go ahead and take care of these real quick? It just seems like it would be common practice.
This is the same content and same documents that I reviewed.
Your Honor, at this time, the state will tender into evidence 122 Victor Victor through 122 Victor Victor Alpha through Charlie.
I'm sorry, can I just take a quick?
Yeah, you may. And just for my clarity, that's 4 total exhibits?
Yes, Your Honor. That is correct.
Yeah, go ahead and take a look.
No, Moontok's time to appeal is gone.
All right.
I think it's been
without objection.
30 days already.
Now, when you review latent fingerprints with APD, do you yourself generate a report?
Yes.
Your Honor, this is, I'm going to approach the witness, won't be published, but with a document and ask you if you recognize that.
Yes.
Is that a report that you generated for a latent fingerprint?
Correct.
And does that report pertain to the documents we just introduced?
Yes.
Your Honor, not for publication, but the state will introduce state's exhibit, and I will mark that as 122 Victor Victor Delta. Now, at this time.
All right.
That's just for the record, I guess?
I'm not really sure.
It's to assist the witness with having the report she generated for the fingerprint analysis, because they go hand in hand.
Okay, but you're not introducing it.
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay, that's fine.
Now, what was the case you got involved with for this latent print analysis? Who requested your services?
I received the latent print evidence, it appears on March 15th of 2022, likely from my supervisor at that time.
Who made the request?
I believe it was Sandra Tullis.
And was there a officer or crime scene technician who initially gathered the print that you analyzed?
Correct. It looks like the latent impressions lifted by is filled out by Officer A. Hogan and CST Davis.
Crime scene technician Davis?
Correct.
So when you got that report, what did you do next? Or request, I should say.
Well, we, as I stated earlier, we utilized the ACE-V methodology. So upon receiving the evidence, I analyzed the lift card for impressions that would be of value to search in our ACE-V database. I did that, and it appears that one latent print was searched on the APHIS database and resulted in an identification that's listed here on the latent print hit report.
I'm going to publish 122 Victor Victor.
Right, exactly.
Is this a document that you create for latent print analysis that you do within APD?
Yes.
And who was the victim in the case that you created this report for?
Shamel Drinks.
And this was when it has a latent impression lifted by, is that the Officer Hogan and Crime Scene Tech Davis you just discussed?
Yes.
Now, I want to publish 122 Victor Victor Alpha. What is 122 Victor Victor Alpha?
This is the fingerprint card bearing the name Christian Johnson.
And when you place this partial latent print into your system, who did it return back to?
Christian Johnson.
And with this document published, 122 Victor Victor Alpha, are any number of individuals' fingerprints in different databases?
Yes. Commonly, one individual may show up in one or several databases. I believe in this case, Christian Johnson showed up not only in the Atlanta Police Department database, but there is a note that also it hit to or was matched to a print in the Federal Bureau of Investigation database. So FBI and APD on this one.
I'm going to publish 122 Victor Victor Bravo. What is this? You had mentioned earlier about with copying a document, one of them had a smudge. Is this what you were talking about?
Yes, this and the page with the actual lift card. It just looks a little distorted.
What is the print
lift
on the
card?
right?
Interesting.
The right is the known print. That is the print that returned in the database.
And do you see those dots on that print?
I do.
What are those?
Those are the minutia or the characteristics that were marked that signal that the fingerprint is unique. And so we marked those characteristics for the search. In this case, it is because we were doing a side-by-side comparison. And so where you see the marks on the right-hand side correspond with those that you actually cannot see on the left.
And can I ask one small favor? There's a wooden pointer right behind you I'm going to grab for you.
Okay.
If you could show the jury using this pointer what you were just discussing.
So here, I talked about the.
Do we have that lapel mic available or something if she's going to be up for very long so that everybody can make sure they hear her?
Yes, Your Honor.
That would be
I will let her
nice.
use this
That
mic.
works as
I'll place it
well.
right here.
Okay.
Okay. So I mentioned earlier the minutia or the characteristics. And so you would see here a characteristic where you see the circles we mark so that you have correspondence from the known to the latent. And this one, it appears a little dark. When I looked at it, it was a lot clearer, but for whatever reason, it's dark. But it would be us marking what we see here in the latent and where it corresponds to the known print. Sorry about that.
Yikes.
Not your fault at all. And before testifying here, were you able to
Judge Whitaker is about to snap.
original, the clear quality of this document?
Yes, I did. I have a copy.
And when you did the visual comparison in this case, were you able to visually see the comparison bridges more clear than this copy here today?
Yes, I used the original lip card to do the comparison, so there was no issue with the comparison. Also, when we get the candidate list back, there is a score, and oftentimes the higher score.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Identification. Of course, we still have to do the comparison, but sometimes that can be a signal of an identification.
I'm going to publish 122 Victor Victor Charlie. And zoom in here. What is this, a copy of the initial latent print that was collected from Crime Scene Tech Davis?
Correct. Here, it's upside down, but here is where I saw, thank you, where I saw the latent print, and this is what Ms. Davis lifted, and then this is what was actually searched in the APHIS system.
I'm going to publish what's already been admitted as 87 Victor Victor. Give me one moment, Ms. Jackson. While that is being pulled up, in a nutshell, when you get a print like the one collected, you initially have it in the system, and back in 2022,
I want to hear
how
this,
many
but yeah,
comparisons would be returned?
It's rough.
At that time, we would look at.
There you go. They finally switched it out. Hey, finally. Praise be. God dang.
Once you get those comparisons back, is that when you do the visual comparison side by side?
Exactly.
So you get 10 or 5 possible fingerprints, and then you use your training experience to compare.
Exactly.
And what's on the screen, 87 Victor Victor, is this how latent fingerprints come to you in terms of like they're actually collected?
Typically, I receive a powder fingerprint. I'm not sure why there's this red hue behind this one, but typically I get it as a powdered fingerprint. It's a lot clearer.
Maybe come off a cell phone.
And if that was possibly red paint of a vehicle, could that explain why it has that red hue?
Absolutely.
I'm going to go back to 122 Victor Victor Charlie. And this is the copy of the latent print that you initially received and conducted this testing?
That's correct.
One brief moment, Your Honor. And thank you, Ms. Jackson. I may have a couple more questions, but just 1 minute. Your Honor, no further questions at this time. Thank you, ma'am.
Are there defense questions for this witness?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Weinstein, any defense questions? All right, thank you for your time, and you are excused. Call your next witness.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we might get through a couple more witnesses. Let's see.
The state calls Detective Bender to the stand.
We'll get the Detective Bender in here. Shout out to Fun Size. Said happy Veterans Day to all that has served and to the ones that had to hold the fort down while they are gone. My husband has been in the Air Force for 22 years. Amazing. Thank you so much for your service, both of you. I love it. All right, let's see how long her testimony is.
My apologies, Your Honor.
Okay, yeah, we should be good. And y'all can find the link to Amy's channel in the description as well.
Raise your right hand. You swear affirm the testimony you give today the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. Have a seat. I need you to announce your first and last name and spell your first and last name for the course now.
Okay, it's Detective Bender. It's Lisa Bender, Lisa Bender.
How are you doing, Detective Bender?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Where do you work currently?
I currently work for Atlanta Police Department in the homicide unit.
How long have you been with APD Homicide?
For over 5 years.
How long have you been with APD overall?
14 years.
And what units were you a detective in before homicide?
I was in the Zone 6 unit.
And before
not Zone 6.
being a Zone 6 unit, were you a Zone 6 patrol?
No, prior to that, I was in public affairs. Prior to that, Zone 5 patrol.
Now, since your time in APD and specifically homicide, have you ever had to utilize license plate readers or LPRs?
Yes.
How frequently have you utilized those in investigations?
Pretty frequently. Anytime there's a vehicle involved, we're normally using the license plate readers.
And back in March of 2022, you were in APD homicide?
That's correct.
Did you have any neighboring APD detectives whose offices were nearby yours?
Yes.
Was one of them Detective Hogan?
Yes. And
can you describe just in general how you utilize LPRs?
Just in general, well, you can do it several ways. One way is if you already have a tag number, you can plug that into the LPR and you can give a time frame that you're looking for, and the license plate reader will bring back what we call hits of how many times it hits a license plate reader around the city. Another way that you can do it is you can, if you're looking to find a tag number, you can plug in a time frame and flip through pictures of the vehicles and pictures of the tags, and you can find them that way.
Now, did you ever did you ever assist Detective Hogan with a homicide investigation he was working in March of 2022?
Yes.
How did that come about?
We sit near each other, and we all work as a team anyway, and he needed some information. He needed some tag numbers for some suspect vehicles for his homicide.
And how did you help him out?
So Detective Hogan gave me a time frame of where the suspect vehicles were prior to the homicide time, and what I did was I looked at the location. He had information of them being at a convenience store, so I looked in the area for the closest license plate reader that we had to the convenience store, or readers, and then plugged in the time frame to that license plate reader. He also gave me the description of the vehicles and, of course, the direction of travel, which helped me identify which license plate reader to look at. So once I plugged in the time frame, I knew the suspect vehicle descriptions. I was able to flip through the pictures and find those vehicles and find their tags.
And once you found those tags, were you able to search or determine other locations in the relevant time frame where those vehicles were?
Yes, so once we had the tag numbers, we were able to plug those into the license plate reader, and I put in a specific time frame that Detective Hogan was looking for, and we were able to see what we call hits when they hit across the city on the readers.
I am approaching the witness with what's been marked as 118 Victor Victor through 120 Victor Victor. And Detective Bender, before testifying here today, did you have an opportunity to review these 3 exhibits?
I did.
What are they?
These are license plate reads for a specific time frame for 3 different vehicles, 2 suspects' vehicles, and the victim vehicle.
And are they a fair and accurate depiction of the vehicle queries that you assisted Detective Hogan with?
They are.
Your Honor, at this time, the state moves to tender into evidence 118 through 120 Victor Victor.
All right, those are admitted without objection.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, I want to publish 118 Victor Victor first. And Detective Bender, you have that physical copy. There also will be one that comes up on that computer screen and the big screen behind you.
Okay.
And I'm going to zoom in at the very bottom of this first page and ask you, while that's being pulled up, what was the event timestamp, or other words, time frame you were looking for these vehicles, the date and time?
So March 14th, 2022. Excuse me. So this particular timestamp is 4:31 p.m.
And what was March 14th, 2022, at what time to what date?
What time did we query?
Correct. Or what time frame was the query? In terms of, was it March 14th at 8 a.m., March 14th at midnight? At the very bottom of page 1 under event timestamp in 118 Victor Victor.
Okay, yeah, so it was March 14th at midnight to March 15th at 11:59 p.m.
And scrolling back up to the top of page 1, what was this vehicle that we're looking at with this exhibit in general, and what was the tag?
Okay, it's a white Audi sedan, and the tag is 8 Edward David 7071.
And when you were assisting this investigation, was this possible suspect vehicle or victim vehicle?
Possible suspect vehicle.
Now, what is and can you explain for the jury, and I got a pointer to help you, kind of what we're seeing here when you get these LPR queries?
Mm-hmm.
There's a larger screen behind you. Can you kind of break down what these boxes pertain to?
Okay, sure. So, so this first box would be the license plate number. The LPR unit would be where we have the license plate reader. So that's where the license plate reader is located, and this one's at Cleveland Avenue Southwest eastbound. So it'd be facing eastbound, that would be the direction that the vehicle is traveling, at Metropolitan Parkway Southwest. And of course the time, the date stamp, and then the time stamp. Manual capture, when it says no, it just means it automatically takes pictures every time a vehicle goes through the reader. So nobody stopped and took the picture, it's just the machine doing it on its own. And then of course there's a photo of the vehicle, so it has a close-up of the tag, and then a photo of the vehicle that went through the license plate reader camera.
And is this how, when you query LPRs, that it comes back in this format?
Yes.
Now, what was so your time frame was March 14th at midnight to March 15th at 11:59. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
So what was the first LPR read for the white Audi in that time frame?
Okay, so the first one would be Cleveland Avenue Southwest traveling eastbound at Metropolitan Parkway Southwest on the 14th of March 2022, and this timestamp is 3:22 and 45 seconds, 3:22 p.m.
And does it capture, and as we see that photograph at the very top, is that pertain to that LPR reader?
It does.
Now, is there another query right after that that's also Cleveland Avenue Southwest eastbound?
Yes.
And from this photograph capture, does that white Audi have any tint on the windows or not?
It appears to have tint on the windows.
Now,
see, I knew she was going to bring up tint.
Page 2.
Bring my boy Tint, man.
Where is the vehicle? You have 3 hits starting at 5:06 p.m. to 5:12 p.m. Do you see that?
I do.
Where in general are those 3 hits located?
They're all along Metropolitan Parkway at different cross streets. So one's at Fair Drive Southwest, one at University Avenue, and one at Perkerson Road.
Now, is there different parts of the city that have more LPR readers than others?
There are.
And is there times where if you're at a particular part in Atlanta where there's a lot of cameras, you may get a bunch of LPR hits in a short span of time?
Correct. If the vehicle's traveling in that direction and the license plate readers are picking it up, yes.
Now, I want to turn to page 3 of this white Audi LPR. Where was the vehicle at 5:14 p.m.?
Cleveland Avenue Southwest, traveling eastbound at Metropolitan Parkway Southwest.
And after that 5:14 p.m. LPR, when is the next hit?
The next hit is at 5:21 p.m.
Do you see, and after that 5:21?
Another hit? Yes, sir. Yes, sir, at 8:07 p.m.
And when it hits at 8:07 p.m., is this March 14th?
It's still March 14th, yes.
Where is the vehicle at 8:07 p.m. on March 14th?
Cleveland Avenue Southwest, traveling westbound at Highway 75.
Now, turning to page 4, after that 8:07 p.m. query, when is the next hit?
The next hit is still March 14th, 2022 at 8:28 p.m. And that's at Forest Hills Drive Southwest.
Yeah, I regret playing
southbound
this.
At 6th Street Southwest.
Now, that's at 8:28 p.m.?
Yes.
When is the next hit after that 8:28 p.m.?
It is still March 14th, 2022, 8:30 p.m. at Forest Hills Drive Southwest northbound and 6th Street Southwest.
And after that 8:30 p.m. hit, when is that vehicle captured on LPR, the white Audi, next?
3:14 of 22 at 9:44 p.m. And that's Forest Hills Drive Southwest northbound and 6th Street Southwest.
After that 9:44 p.m. March 14th hit, where does it come up next?
The next hit is still same day, 3/14/22 at 9:49 p.m. That's at Windsor Street Southwest northbound and Richardson Street Southwest.
After that 9:49 p.m. on March 14th, LPR hit at Windsor Street Southwest northbound near Richardson Street, when is the next time that that white Audi is captured?
Okay, still same day, 3/14/22 at 10:12 p.m. And it says the number 3 interchange drive westbound from Fulton Industrial Boulevard towards Wendell.
Now, from this 10:12 p.m. hit, how much what time is the next hit?
The next time is 2 a.m., so that would now be 3/15/22 the next day, 2:04 a.m.
How much time passed between those two
That's
LPR
true,
hits?
Christy.
A
That's
little
a good
under
point.
4 hours.
And where is the vehicle at 2 a.m.?
It's at McDaniel Street southbound at Fulton Street.
And after that 2 a.m. On March 15th hit, when is the next LPR hit for the white Audi?
It's still 3/15/22, and it's at 12:33 p.m. at Windsor Street southbound, Fulton Street Southwest.
How many hours roughly are there between 2 a.m. to 12 p.m.?
Roughly 10. All right.
Now,
she don't
turning
know.
to, or do you see another hit at 7:12 p.m.?
I do.
Where is the vehicle at 7:12 p.m.?
So this would still be 3/15/22. It's at Cleveland Avenue Southwest eastbound and Metropolitan Parkway.
Now, other than this white Audi with license plate ending in 8 Echo Delta 7071, was there any other potential suspect vehicles that you queried for?
Yes, the other one was a white Ford Fusion.
And is that 19 Victor Victor?
It is.
Now,
He's going to bring it up.
Sorry, I'm in 119. I'm publishing 119 Victor Victor. Now, is this query for the white Ford Fusion, is it the same time frame, March 14th?
Yes, March 14th at midnight through March 15th at 11:59 p.m.
And what is the tag number for this white Ford Fusion that was of interest?
It's Tango Adam David 8611.
How many queries did you get returned for this vehicle in terms of how many hits were there in that window of time?
6.
When is the first hit for the white Ford Fusion?
So the first one is on 3/14/22 at 9:02 a.m.
And where is that vehicle?
It's at Old Hapeville Road Southwest, traveling northbound at Cleveland Avenue Southwest.
When is the next LPR hit after that 9:02 at Old Hapeville and Cleveland Avenue?
It is still on 3/14/22, 5:36 p.m. at Marketplace Entrance number 2, Camp Creek at North Commerce.
After that and this is March 14th?
Still March 14th.
When is the next hit for that white Ford Fusion after the 5:36 p.m. hit?
That's also still March 14th, 22, 8:35 p.m.
It wasn't this
And
car.
is that also at the Old Hapeville Road northbound and Cleveland Avenue area?
It is.
Now, after that 8:35 hit, when is the next LPR reading?
Okay, the next one is still on 3/14/22 at 9:50 p.m.
And where is the vehicle, where is the white Ford Fusion at 9:50 p.m. on March 14th?
It's at Windsor Street Southwest, traveling northbound at Richardson Street Southwest.
Now, I'm going to republish
We already saw all
18
this.
Victor, the top of page 5. This was at 9:50, what we currently have?
Yes.
Now, looking at 18 Victor, top of page 5.
118 Victor.
Yes, Your Honor. 118 Victor. And it's going to come up for you on the screen. What is the time and location for the white Audi with tinted windows?
It's 3/14/22 at 9:49 p.m.
And what's the location?
Windsor Street Southwest, traveling northbound at Richardson Street Southwest.
Are those the same locations?
They are.
How many minutes apart?
Less than 1, I believe.
Going back to 19 Victor, page 2. And it's going to come up for us with the white Ford Fusion.
Yeah, and they did not investigate that third white car at all. They didn't investigate the car that did a U-turn. And as far as we know, they didn't talk to the person who was walking up the side of the street after it happened. They got Mr. Cheeseburger. They got the detectives. And obviously Shamel, Drinks, and Shannon. But, sheesh.
When is the next LPR hit after that 9:50 p.m. on the white Ford Fusion?
The next one is still on 3/14/22. It's at 10:12 p.m.
And where is the white Ford Fusion at 10:12 p.m. on March 14, 2022?
It's on number 3, Interchange Drive westbound from Fulton Industrial Boulevard towards Wendell.
Now, I'm going to republish 18 Victor, page 5 in the middle. Do you see, and is this the white Audi now?
Yes, it is.
Where is the white Audi at 10:12 p.m. on March 14, 2022?
It is at Interchange Drive westbound from Fulton Industrial Boulevard towards Wendell.
Is that the same location as the white Ford Fusion we just discussed?
Yes, it is.
How much time is between when the white Ford Fusion and the white Audi hit at Interchange Drive westbound from Fulton Industrial Boulevard?
9 seconds.
Now, going back to 19 Victor with the white Ford Fusion, after that 10:12 p.m., when is the next LPR hit?
The next one is the next day at
they definitely do a clean
3/15 of
roll.
22, and it's at 12:01 p.m.
And Detective Bender, in 2022, ballpark-wise, I mean, how many LPRs are there roughly in the city of Atlanta?
It's a
I won't
lot.
hold you to it.
Hundreds.
A lot.
Now, what's that address? March 15th, 12:01, not address, but where the LPR returns at?
On March 15th?
Yes, ma'am.
It's Forest Hills Drive Southwest northbound and 6th Street Southwest.
I'm going to republish 18 Victor at 8:28 p.m. on March 14th, 2022. Is that the same location?
6th Street, yes it is.
Now, other than the white Ford Fusion and the white Audi, did you ever conduct any license plate readers for a red Nissan?
Yes,
Is that what's marked as 120 Victor Victor?
it is.
And was that the victim's vehicle?
It is.
Now, I'm going to publish 120 Victor Victor. And was there a number of queries that returned for that vehicle?
Yes.
Going to and was it the same time frame, March 14th at 12 a.m. to
This
March 15th
system is
at
so
11:59
crazy, y'all.
p.m.?
Yes.
Going to page 5. Or excuse me, page 6. Where was this vehicle, the red Nissan, at 7:08 p.m. on March 14th?
It's at Lakewood Avenue Southeast, and then it says Southwest, and Shadydale Avenue Southeast.
Where does the vehicle travel after, or where's the next LPR hit after 7:08 p.m.?
The next one is same day, 3/14/22 at 9:24 p.m., and that's at Windsor Street Southwest northbound and Richardson Street Southwest.
Republishing what's been marked as 18 Victor Victor. Do you see the 9:49 p.m. LPR reading for the white Audi?
Yes.
What is the time and location for that vehicle?
So it's 3/14/22 at 9:49 p.m. and 6 seconds. Location is Windsor Street Southwest northbound at Richardson Street Southwest.
Is that the same location for the red Nissan we just discussed?
Yes.
And how much time difference is there between these LPR hits?
About 25 minutes.
And going to 19 Victor Victor, the white Ford Fusion, do you see a LPR hit around that same time frame?
They didn't want to, Kyrie.
Yes.
They didn't want to track
What
those
is
cars.
the time and location for the 950 white Ford Fusion LPR hit?
It's on 3/14/22 at 9:50 and 47 seconds at Windsor Street Southwest northbound and Richardson Street Southwest.
So with those three LPRs, those three vehicles are hitting the same LPR within roughly 20 minutes of one another?
Correct.
One brief moment, Your Honor.
What could he possibly be
Detective
looking
Bender,
for?
After you assisted Detective Hogan with these LPR readings, did you have any other involvement with the murder of Chanel Drinks?
I did not.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Detective.
Good afternoon.
Hey, my name's Max Shard. I represent Shannon Stillwell. I'm just going to ask you a few questions about the work that you did on this case. What day did you run the LPRs?
I don't have the date I don't know which date that I ran them for Detective Hogan.
Do you have a date range?
I would imagine it was within a few days of the actual homicide.
Should have, Mark.
May I approach?
You may.
Can you see those?
Yes.
Oh, easy there, killer.
And Detective, I'm not going to pretend to know more about the LPR system than you. On the lower left or lower right, it says March 28th, 2022.
Right, that's when Detective Hogan ran the hits.
So, when you say Detective Hogan ran the hits, okay, explain.
So in order for us to produce this is like a PDF copy. What we're looking at in the computer, we can just flip through. So he ran his own copy of the information.
Understood.
For the case file.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You ran it for Detective Hogan. The 328 that's indicated on the state's exhibits there is a date that Detective Hogan took what you came up with on your computer and actually printed it out to PDF. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, great.
According to what this says. It says user Hogan. So
Understood. So you certainly ran these before 328?
Yes.
But your
Detective
recollection
Hogan.
is earlier than that, within a few days of 314?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Now, My understanding, well, Detective Hogan, when he came to you, do you remember what day he came to you to discuss these matters?
So it would have either been, this happened late on the 14th.
Shout out to
So it
Santa
would have
Claus.
probably been the 15th or 16th. I just don't remember which day.
All right, and when Detective Hogan came and asked for your assistance in this matter, did he have license plates at the time, or did he ask you to do the first step as well?
He did not have the license plates. He had the vehicle description and last known location and a time frame.
So you did the first step that you talked about on direct, which was identifying license plate based on the description of a car.
Correct.
And a location that Detective Hogan thought they might be.
Yes.
And from those LPR reads, you were able to get license plates, and then you ran the reads on the license plates.
Yes.
Okay, great. Now, Detective Hogan, to do that first step, to try to identify license plates, he gave you descriptions of some vehicles, correct?
Yes.
Okay, what descriptions did he give you for vehicles?
A white Ford Fusion and a white Audi sedan.
And then the red Versa?
Yes.
Okay.
What about the third car and the fourth car? Nothing.
Did he?
It's crazy.
Ask you, besides those three cars, the red Versa, the white Ford Fusion, and the white Audi sedan, besides those three cars, did Detective Hogan ever come to you and ask you to run any other LPRs on any other vehicles involving this case?
Not that I recall.
Okay, so he did not identify to you any other vehicles of interest for you to run LPRs on?
Not that I recall. At the time, he was looking for these two specific suspect vehicles and for his victim vehicle and what time they might have been in the area.
Okay. That's exactly right, Mark.
Let me ask you this. Are you familiar with this case besides the LPRs?
No.
Okay. Have you ever seen any surveillance video regarding this case?
I know there is surveillance video. I've seen still shots from it.
Okay. Okay. But Detective Hogan just asked you about those three vehicles.
He gave me the description of the vehicles. And so when I'm looking for locations nearby, I'm going to look at any white vehicles. If I know that they're white vehicles, I'm looking at any white vehicles. But he knew the make and model. He happened to know the make and model. So when I'm, or, you know, in this case, it's white vehicles and then a red vehicle. So I'm looking in general for any vehicle that remotely matches the description because it doesn't always return what type of vehicle it is. And sometimes the pictures, you can't tell what type of vehicle it is.
And thank you for that. So if you were doing the first step, which was to identify vehicles, you would be able to look at pictures the LPR caught other white vehicles, but then you would be able to be determined, okay, is this a Ford Fusion or is this a Audi sedan?
Correct.
Okay, and that would narrow it down for you. Okay.
Right.
How long is LPR records kept?
From my understanding, at one point, it was maybe 2 years. I don't know if that's still the case.
Okay. All right.
That's a fact, Christy.
And does the public have access to the LPR readers around town, or is it just for law enforcement?
In what way?
Could I or any other citizen have access to the database that you have to tap into the LPR system? Or is that strictly law enforcement?
It's law enforcement, from my understanding.
Okay. All right, thank you. No further questions.
All right, there it is, man.
These niggas lacking.
Shout out to the state. Some interesting witnesses on this day. And I think, again, we really have to pay attention to what's going on with this Shamel Drinks murder, because we're already seeing how much the evidence isn't really adding up. And even the circumstantial evidence, it's really just not enough there to say that Shannon did it. And then on top of that, you add that, let's be real, the investigators, the detectives did not do their job in this case. This instance specifically, we're not surprised, but they've got a lot of explaining to do. A lot of explaining to do. Thank y'all for the congratulations again. 75K is crazy. Happy Veterans Day to all of our servicemen and women. I appreciate you. I thank you so much. And we love our vets here on the channel. So thank y'all for showing love and support. If y'all want to extend your celebration of Veterans Day and stop by the Song of the Night live tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be listening to some amazing music from some of the independent artists in this community. So if you want to stop by, you'll also get a chance to win $100 just for tuning into the show. So why wouldn't you stop by? We're going to have something special tonight for our veterans as well. So if you're a vet and you love music, make sure you stop by the show tonight. Thank y'all so much for all that you do and for the sacrifice you make for all of us to be here. All right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day. Do me a favor, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you haven't yet. Like the video on your way out. If you want to subscribe to Amy's channel, y'all definitely need to go over there. The link to subscribe is in the description. All right, I'm going to see y'all later tonight. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the holiday, and we'll be back live tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time when the jury will be back as well, and we'll get to hear what's going on with this Samel Drinks murder. All right, y'all have a great rest of your day. You know what to do. Keep growing, keep pushing, keep it classy. We go. Peace.